Okay, hello there. Today we are continuing lookouts and, well, hopefully finishing it too. So I will just load up the last save file because we're not starting from the beginning. We are continuing from where we left off almost like 4 days ago, something like that. Just like a heads up, I have like heavy rain and a bit of fun outside, so you might hear that on occasion if we're not lucky. So yeah, that might happen. Yeah, I'm actually pretty excited to continue this game because I really like the art style of it. I probably said it 1,000 times already. But yeah, let's just continue from where we left off. And we talked to like the sheriff, we talked to the turtle, the guy in the bar. So we talked to a lot of people already. Okay, Joseph stands with you for a moment in the porch of the meeting hall, looking off into the town. What you thinking? Well, we all know that these folks ain't gonna put up much of a fight. Maybe some of them, but... And there's definitely gold here, somewhere. Alright, we were actually lookouts for 2 different gangs who were trying to get the gold out of this town. Then we met each other, and now we're just investigating if there's actually gold here, and how the town is set up and all that stuff. Joseph had no real emotions playing across his face, but he was standing much more still than you had seen him before. Also, Joseph is the bird, and we are Robin, I think? Yeah. And we are the wolf, I think. Yeah, that's the one. Like he was trying not to breathe. Come on, we've got more people to talk to. He exhaled sharply, the feathers on his beak next to his nose holes fluttering. Yeah. He walked past the houses and people like before, but didn't feel like waving back. Also, something really changed in the emotions right now, because before they were like very friendly to everyone. Walking back to the edge of town, on the other side from the sign you now knew read Clemency. You both sit on the edge of a little hillside slope, kicking dust up on yourselves as you settle on the rocky crevices. Think that all the useful places of interest here, unless you wanna go knocking on folks' door asking for gold. I think we've disturbed this lot enough for a day. Your resting hand becomes restless as it brushes against some dry desert grass, entwining it between your fingers, slowly pulling it from its roots. So what did we actually figure out? Everyone here is kind and mostly defenseless. I think pacifist is the word. You tug more grass up into your hand. They can maybe fight off some bandits, but no officers are gonna come help, and that ain't gonna do much good against the whole gang. There was gold here, somewhere, in some forgotten mines no one's seen for decades. Well, it's gonna be around here. This is a mining town, for Pete's sake. How far could it be? You shrug. Trevor said the town was moved. The mines could be anywhere now. Maybe it really was just rumors. Maybe there's not really anything to find here. I think you know as well as I do that these folks were antsy. Friendly as well, but gold gets their hackles up. Someone has to know where the mines are. He knew he was right. He knew how to read people well enough. Joseph stood up, gazing out across the landscape of the town and beyond, searching towards the horizon. Will I use those special eyes of yours, bird brain? More use than you chasing your tail would. He looked at you for a moment with a smirk, and you smirked back. You rolled the grass in your hand between your fingers, squashing the reeds of it together, dropping seeds in the sand. I can't see nothing. The sun in my eyes ain't helping neither. I don't know if Bartholomew would help out. He was maybe the most friendly one of the bunch, Sheriff didn't even talk about the gold. Because Sheriff knows how to keep the town safe. You look up at Joseph, his puzzled face squinting in the sun, looking down at you. Looking back out into the desert, the sun sets between the rocky outcroppings in the distance. A light bulb plucked from the sky by unmoving fingers. It'll start getting dark soon. Yeah, so they just spend the whole day in this town. Because as far as I know, they both started and arrived at this town when it was morning, like early morning, and now it's already evening, so they really took the time talking to people. Sheriff knows where the mines are. Bartholomew said he never saw them, and Jacob was never a miner. He had no reason to go to the mines. What? So he never saw them? That don't make sense. I'm not saying that. I'm saying even if you did see them back then, you wouldn't remember where they were now. Sheriff still knows where they are because they're the biggest danger to the town. I'd wager Sheriff even checks up on them every so often to make sure it's undisturbed. I guess that checks out. We don't have the time for a stakeout though. You balled your hands into a fist, the grass yielding and turning to dust. You don't need to know where they are anyway. You got all you need. Knowing where the mines are would just be a penny in the head. You should think about our next move. You ignored the tiny knot in your stomach as you thought about what to do next. You should just leave, but there's nothing else to do here. You should just think about resting. Getting dark soon. I think we could stay at the saloon. I still don't know how to say that. Sheriff did offer. You sure you want to stay here for a night? Seems like the least we can do before we leave. Unless camping outside has some mighty appeal to you. Joseph flashed a wry smile. Alright, let's go have a look first. No point bringing the horses down if I can't afford the rooms. Right, Joseph is the only one who has money. We're just here and we don't actually have money with us. Standing up, you feel the dust fly between your fingers with the wind blowing east, and following Joseph a few paces behind. So we're going back to the town. Nice. You walk towards the saloon again, looking forward to having somewhere to rest. You don't remember the last time you actually stayed in a room somewhere. It was always a tent or just your bedroll lying beneath the stars. You see Sheriff and Bartholomew standing on the porch of the saloon talking intently, but can't pick up any clear words of the wind. On the wind. Sheriff notices you both as you approach, patting Bartholomew on the back as he takes a sleeve back inside. Sheriff leaves the shade of the saloon's overhang, walking with purpose towards you both. The blue of the sky was starting to fade into oranges, pinks on the edges of the spars, and tiny clouds overhead. You both slow to a stop as Sheriff approaches you quickly. The face approaching you was different from before, and you see Joseph's face fall a little. Sheriff came to a stop in front of you both, twisting the cane in the dirt alone. The old and frail figure standing in front of you was shaking a tad. You could hear slow and deliberate breaths from the chest. The usual confidence and bluster of Joseph dissipated under the new glare of Sheriff's. The new and sharp eyes, unlike those you'd seen when you arrived. Oh, this is serious. There was a tiredness in them, a fierce tiredness, beneath which was a wild look you'd only seen in the eyes of the newly grieving. Gripping the canes, scaled knuckles turning white, Sheriff spoke in a low and calm voice. Yeah, I should have known. I thought maybe I was wrong this time. You all seem so, I don't know, like you should be here. Even so, I knew there was something off with what you were asking. Is everything alright, Sheriff? We were just going to see if we could stay at the saloon. Sheriff slammed the cane onto the dirt with such force you feared it might crack the earth beneath. You know damn well things are not alright. I had a little chat with my friends around town, talking about the newcomers, what they'd been asking about. Just passing through town. Give me a break. I should know it was too good to be true. I know when I see the gold view in them eyes. We're not here to cause trouble, Sheriff. We'll be on our way tomorrow morning. Really now? Well, Sheriff reached a free hand behind and pulled an old revolver. Pointed at you. Well, that was unexpected. Well, see, we should probably have thought about this, considering, we were asking all the people the same questions about gold. So obviously the sheriff would have thought about this someday. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say it once. I made a promise to protect this town and the people who live here, that I would do what was right by them. So both of you are gonna turn tail and leave right now, and you never come back. If I ever see either of you heading this way again, I will shoot you dead before never fur or feather crosses the town line. You stood still next to Joseph, a small fear of walking taking hold as you feel like the wind might knock you off your chest. Understood, Sheriff. Joseph started walking away, not stopping for you even as you stood there a moment longer just to say one word. Sorry. You knew that didn't make up for it, but it was all you could muster from your tight throat. You turned quickly and walked away after Joseph with your head down, staring at your feet as they rhythmically sped one after another through the dust tracks of a town you couldn't come back to. See, I think they will still come back. I actually think that they're probably just gonna stay here forever. Maybe at the end of the game. Because that would be something I would expect them to do. The climb back out of the valley was quiet. The wind was the only noise to reach your ears. No words coming to pass between you and Joseph. Only the occasional meeting of the eyes when he looked to make sure you hadn't fallen behind. Those eyes, that face you had grown accustomed so quickly to having, at least a hint of a smile resting, was devoid of much emotion at all. He wasn't thinking about it, you felt, but to not think about it meant not to think at all. And so he didn't, his limbs carrying him up the path, but no one was home. You understood, of course, as much as you'd like not to think about it either. You couldn't ignore the small dread in your chest, like it was in the cavities of your insides, seeping around in between your organs, a creeping tar. But the suffocating tar just making you feel heavy, dense. If you stopped walking now, you didn't know if you'd start again. The sun was starting to dip into the horizon when you reached your original meeting spot at the top of the cliff. Both of your horses were lying in the long shadows of some rocky mounds, your own shadows stretching across the sand as you go tend to them. Yeah, I totally forgot we had horses. We just left them here in the sun. That's a bit. That's not very nice of us. It's probably very hot outside. Obviously. You both hauled your bedrolls off and started to unpack them, giving the horses some water and sorting through your belongings. Still without a word, a camp for the night quickly formed between you as you worked. Joseph had brought a tin metal stand with him to hang the cooking pot over, and gently tossed you his book of matches as he erected it. Book of matches? A book of matches. Okay. You struck the match in a familiar fashion, placing it in the middle of the dried assortment, blowing gently to encourage the shy flame. Lifting your head back up from the burning fire, Joseph was having a little issue getting a stand too. Well, stand. His face was still the same neutral, empty face from before. You noticed a little catch on a joint that hadn't flipped properly. You brought your hand up to flick it out the way. Either the lurch of the stand falling into place or the momentary touch of your hand against him seemed to jolt Joseph out of his listless state. Thank you. Just a small one, a very one had to turn to his face. We were glad to see it again. It was enough to make your chest a little lighter, the tar receding just a touch. Yay, we have music back. The serious part is gone. With the fire lit, a modest plume of smoke started billowing into the sky and scattering in the fading sunlight. Joseph momentarily to rummage in one of his saddlebags, coming back with a tin cloth. I've got some beans, some solid pork too. Not sure what you got with you. Alright, yeah, hold on. He had plenty of water still, and if he was propping up the bulk of the meal, he had some molasses to add to it. He brought them both a walnut Joseph sitting on his bedroll. He'd lay out now, take the reins. Wasn't really a two-person job. It's cooking time. With the beans gently cooking away now in the pot, he sat there, lazily stirring it with a spoon. You grabbed your bedroll and laid it out on the opposite side of the fire, squatting and dropping onto it with a thud, tucking your legs towards you. Resting your head on your knees, holding them in your arms. Look at this! They're cooking. Well, I like this little like little art pieces when there's like a little bit of story. Two of you sat like this a short while, watching the pot steaming away, the orange flames licking the underside of the well-used metal. You found yourself thinking about what happened in Clemency without even realizing. The pang you felt in your stomach when Sheriff knew why you were there. The sharp chill that shot from your neck to your tail when the gun was pulled on you. You weren't scared of being shot, that wasn't it. It wasn't what set your palm into a cold sweat. It was something else. You wanted to stay there, right? Something about having to leave that town. Sorry for letting you do so much of the talking today. I'm more of the quiet type. Sure you figured it out already. She flashed you a weak but genuine smile. Not like I did much good. It wasn't your fault, Joseph. Sheriff was paranoid. We were bound to be rumbled. Eventually. Besides, it doesn't really seem like there's any gold here, unless we feel like setting up a new mining operation. Yep, I'm sure Blake will just love to hear that. Wasn't my fault, I'll say. He sighed, a sharp, exasperated exhale through snowballs. One knee of his crossed legs fidgeting and bouncing as he stirred the pot. You were a little taken aback that he seemed to be mocking what you said. And relaxed its wise grip on the long spoon as you held each other's gaze. Let's go, I'm here, it's alright. No, let go, that's the one. He nodded a few times, taking his hand away and resting on his haunches, stretching his legs out. A few moments passed and Joseph regained his calm, laid-back demeanor. One leg still bounced along, a quick rhythm, tapping a dance hall tune. Oh look, we can see the horse. They actually look quite nice. Like the people, I think it was like 3 people who worked in this game, but they can draw things. Like, look at this. It looks very minimalistic, but you can clearly see what all of it is, and it looks very good. The sun was almost gone now, the last rays of light in the desert turning everything in the distance a single dusty red. You could see the stars now as you looked to the sky, the light continuing to fade. More and more points of light dotting their way to the east. You turned your eyes away from the sky when you heard the sound of a penknife picking open. Oh, don't mind me, Nan. I'm doing all cleaning. Okay, wait, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Let's just continue. He started taking the knife gently to his wing, very gently. He seemed to be scraping away older feathers while also opening new pin feathers scattered across the wing. In motions almost like shaving. Forgive me if I'm talking out of line, but why don't you use your beak for that? Ah, well, Mama always told us you don't use your beak for a thing about anymore. Anyone other than family or lovers. It ain't polite. He seemed a little sheepish, admitting it like it was an uncommon quirk of his family. That's interesting. They have like things like different kinds of animals do. Oh, that's cool. You asked about Black Vulture, yeah? Don't you know the stories already? Yeah, but those are just stories. I know what it's like riding with someone with a few tall tales trailing behind them. Yusuf snorted a little, still making his way across the wing with a small knife. Yep, that sounds about right. Pretty sure some of the more flattering ones I've heard were left behind by the Vulture himself. You settled on the side of your legs a little, getting more comfortable as you kept stirring the ever-cooking pot. Where you begin with the man himself. Jeez, he's a real piece of work, that one. I can tell you that much for sure. He's a city slicker that considered himself a cowboy, even though he hates getting his boots dirty. Acts all gentlemanlike and such, a real flannel now. He'd charm the pants off of you if you had something he wanted. Then when he's got what he wants, he'd jab the knife towards you pointedly. He'd stick you in the back and twist it hard to hear you cry. He turned the knife back to pleading. He's a terrible shot too. There are some stories that he could shoot the cap of a bottle without spilling it from 50 paces. But he ain't the sharpshooter never. He's almost as bad a shot as me. But someone else for that. See, that's how you run in his posse. I have no clue what this word is. He tapped the knife on the ground through the wood to make his point. His gang is one on the smaller side, but they're plenty loyal. They need to be. There can't be anyone else. You're loyal then? I'm the ice. I'm useful. I get on good with a lot of and Black Vulture keeps me around. Win-win. You understood what he was saying, what he meant, what he really wanted to say. You understood how it felt to be under that kind of looming shadow. No one for miles around, but don't say anything, just in case. You'd seen what happens to the other people you both had, for sure. Joseph was as far from a greenhorn as could be. He swapped hands and started the knife on his other wing now. So, what about Curly Wolf? You said there were plenty of tall tales about him. Not fair with me. You didn't look at him for when he asked for you. He kept looking at the pot, peeking over to check the beans. This looks about done to me. Should have stared at you for a moment, but you did meet his eyes, and then closed up his knife, kneeling over to look with a approving whistle. So, Robin just doesn't want to talk about it, I think. Yeah, looks it to me. You laughed a little as his stomach gave a hearty growl, fetching the bowls and holding them, while Joseph served you both a big, flopping portion. And it come now, and you both gathered a little closer around the fire and moved the pot stand to the side. You could see him easier now with it out the way. With the pot lifted, the fire rose, dancing in the wind, sometimes hazing your view, the blur fitting in and out as you glanced eyes with you while you ate. Believe it or not, but I ain't the cookie back at the camp. Someone else got that privilege. He was clearly joking, but the beans were some of the better. I never would have guessed. I don't cook that often, but I make some mean donuts from time to time. Oh, do you now? I have to try them then. I hope so. Okay. It was so selfish to ignore his question, say nothing about Curly Wolf. So rude of you, you weren't raised like this. You couldn't though, never. Or more like you didn't know what to say. How many years had it been now? Sorry, I should have said something when you asked about my boss. I get it. No, I mean, of course you do, but it's also that. When I said I was the quiet type, it's more than that. If I'm shooting straight with you, I don't remember the last time I heard my own voice before today. At the camp, I might say yeah or no, but I don't really talk. When I'm away on a lookout, there's just no one to talk to. I don't want to talk to myself and just be reminded I'm alone. That's a bit sad. I've never talked about him. I wouldn't. Joseph looked straight at you. Hewn into you, it almost felt like. You could see the fire between you and his eyes. Flames fluttering across the irises. The intensity of his look gave away something like relief. Nah, don't worry about being a quiet one. I think it's part of your charm. There are a lot of wannabe tough guys who wanna act like you. With no sweat, that strong, solid act. Besides, guys back home are always telling me to shut up, not that I give them the satisfaction. I can tell you that being quiet doesn't change things. Regardless of whether you make a fuss. You sighed a long sigh. What else could you even use for a man like him? Feeling both is a bad egg. I think sometimes he was born like that. I know he can't have been. I don't know what God-forsaken things happened to him to turn him into what he is. He's probably the meanest, roughest you ever have the misfortune of meeting. Anyone you can think of that you wouldn't want to run into, he's worse than that. Now about Black Vulture, but the stories Kerwolf leaves behind, I don't think they even match up to how dangerous he is. I've seen him gun down traders running away on horseback 200 paces away. It's easy to get his stand up, and he's the last person you'd ever want to do that to. He'd make sure of that. Not the baddest you'd ever meet, but his instincts are keen. He's never made an empty threat, and he'll happily get his hands dirty to make good on them. The awkwardness. Damn. Like Rachel said before, he'd been willing to pick a fight with Curly Wolf, but they've never met. Now I'm wondering if he has any idea what that would get him into. He ain't stupid, but he's definitely too. His own gut. Oh. Eat your bowl before it gets cold. Nothing worse than cold food. You did as he said, mulling over what you talked about while you ate. Joseph had a head start on you, but even so, his eating was voracious, and you finished before you were even halfway through yours. He sat back from the hut over the bowl, wiping his beak on his arm. He looked around some, into the fire, out into the darkness of the desert, at you. You could tell he didn't want to stare, but his eyes took you in anyway with long glances. He coughed, clearing his throat to stall for the words he was thinking of. Say, Robert, I wanted to ask. He grabbed his knife again, taking it to his wing once more, looking away as he asked a common question. Your arm, I hope you don't think you're cool for asking, but what happened? Did he do that to you? You're pretty used to questions about it, but you appreciated the genuine warmth behind his words at least. This whole thing, yeah, it wasn't pretty. It was a practical joke of sorts, if you'd call it that. By some of the guys doing in camp. Took my bandana and shoved it in the mouth of one of the horses. I'd me all like to get it back. Reached my hand in, and of course the horse gets all angsty and bites down. Starts thrashing, trying to get away. I don't remember much after that. Blacked out for the pain. Oh, okay. Interesting. The next thing I know, I'm being hauled to some doctor. Told me they had to amputate. What? Petrified? Joseph had stopped grinning at this point, looking at you, some real watery eyes and a soft expression on his brow. Brow of both anger and horror. Put the bandana back, so you know, win some, lose some. I'm sorry. Nothing to be sorry for. A long time ago. You just live a bit. When I finished, you set aside your bowl. taking another appraisal of your surroundings, looking up in the sky in this carpet of stars. It was quickly starting to get cold, so you got up and went to your horses, pushing some blankets out for them. Looking inside the bag, you couldn't find your usual extra blanket for yourself. I must have forgotten to take it before you left. You spied your binoculars in there, took them and walked to the edge of the cliff again. You were about to put them up your eyes when you realized you didn't need them to see what was happening in Clemency. The whole town was dark, except for the bright lights permanently shining from the saloon. You saw the shallow silhouette of people dancing out across the street in front, and if you listened very closely, music. Seems like they're having a rippling time. Yeah, I wonder if they would do tonight. Bartholomew mentioned. Why wouldn't they? What have they got to be worried about? His voice was low, cold, blunt. Ice cubes in a drink, bumping your teeth as you sip. You know, out of all the towns I've been kicked out and run out of, this is the only one I'd want to come back to. Yes, go back. Just leave your gangs behind and live in this town happy forever. This place ain't for us. We're trouble, Robin. We're not good for these folks. Tomorrow we'll be gone. We'll tell our bosses we didn't find anything, and if we're lucky, they'll just go on their way. Maybe in another life we could have gone back there. It would have been nice. But this is our life, our only one. It is what it is. We move on. Move on. That's how we live. You could see the wind blowing behind you, ruffling your trousers, whistling past your ears, and it seemed to push you towards the edge of the cliff. Yeah, I guess it is. The wind keeps howling, picking up and dying down, whistling off of the valley and kicking up clouds of dust around the buildings down below. Billy Wolf is gonna ransack this place, even if they don't have anything. And what do you want me to do about it, huh, Robin? It's not my problem. You feel now the desert night on you, your fingers, the tips of your ears, starting to feel the thinness of the cold and the wind. Okay, I'll just drink something. It's a lot of talking. Okay. You were shivering. You shouldn't have talked back to him. You knew how that always went. It never ended well. You just made him feel worse, like it was his fault. Why should he have to listen to your stupid concerns? Why should he have to listen to your stupid concerns? It was your stuff to figure out. He owes you nothing. You just met. You don't know each other. If it weren't for convenience, you'd have shot each other hours ago. You heard the sound of shuffling behind you as he got up. Started walking towards you. Here it came, as you knew it would. You tensed up as he approached, closing the distance, expecting the due anger, closing your eyes when you feel him at your back, ready for the blow that's coming. You flinch when you feel a way around your shoulders, a squeeze from them to you that you expected to hurt, but it's so tender it couldn't possibly. Opening your eyes, you see a thick blanket wrapped around you, down to your knees. You look cold. Don't want to get consumption just standing there. You know how cold desert gets. You drop the binoculars gingerly, by it strapped to the floor, now clasping the edges of the blanket with your hands tightening around you. You could feel how cold your fingers were just below your chin, almost numb. How long had you been standing there for? I'm dreadfully sorry. You got nothing to be sorry for. You and he sat back down by the fire, Joseph giving it a 1,000-yard stare. Oh, thank you. Nothing to it. Get warm. You pull the blanket tighter again, the desert chills still sweeping underneath. Are you not cold? I've been around the fire all night, haven't I? I'm fine. He's lying. You can see his fingers twitch and shiver, but he's trying hard to hide it. You wonder the truth of what he said to you, that we just had to move on. Standing up with the blanket, you walked around the fire, standing over him a moment as he looks up towards you with wide eyes. You sweep the blanket around him and sit down, shoulder to shoulder. Look at him. You were right. He's definitely cold, but a lot warmer than you'd imagine. Oh, they're finally sitting together. We're getting a cutscene. We're getting a cutscene. Oh, look at this. And also, it's like new music. New music just for this. Okay, now I hope they do get back to the city. Well, to the town. Just stay there. Please. I told you I'm fine. Don't give me that blow, tough guy. I know you're not. Looks like he's going to say something, but just shuts its beak. Suddenly seems a lot warmer. I'm sorry, I didn't mean what I said. I know, that wasn't the fella I've been around all day. I'm just... yeah? He nods soberly, as to be almost unnoticeable. Yeah, more scared than I have ever been. Together you huddle, bringing the blankets tighter and tighter, and moving closer to each other. He smells like the desert, dusty and sweaty. Why is this so warm? Why do you feel like this? Not warm like you're on a fire, but like there's a fire inside you. Warm cold shifting around inside and was spitting in your throat. Have you ever felt like this before? Joseph, I looks at you. Your face is so close together. You lean your head into his shoulder, staring into the wild dance of the fire. I haven't met someone like me before. Or someone like you. You're extremely kind, even to a stranger like me. Wish I could know you more than these few hours. I know I have to ride back in the morning, but of all the hopes I've hoped, the strongest is that I could just stay here. That the sun would never rise. I don't want to go back. You stay clinging to him. After a few moments, he pulls you tighter. I have to say, I'm feeling the same way. I can see in you someone who's faced so many hardships, someone who deserves better, who's worked harder than any of the back where you've come from. Because I'm just skipping some words, and then I'm just completely getting out to read. A couple queer fish in a barrel. I'd say Lord knows how we found each other. The sun will come up again, and we have to go our separate ways. We don't have another choice. I just wish it wasn't so. I wish. You lift your head to look at him, but he just gives you a look and turns back to the fire. What are you thinking? He sighs fairly, like he's been asked to carry the world on his back. It's a fight of fancy, that's all. It's not realistic. Look at him curiously. Watching his eyes, he looks at you, almost for approval before he thinks about what he wants to say. I wish we could run away, that's it. The two of us, far away from everyone and everything. But at least till we know no one's chasing us. That sounds nice. You both huddle for a little while longer, sitting close and resting your heads together. The thought of running away ticked over in your mind. Is that what you want? If he could read your mind, Joseph asked. What do you want to do? You thought more. No one had ever really asked you that, and never so. You knew what you wanted to say. I'm tired of running, Joseph. I want to fight. I want to... Curry Wolf. Really? That's the only way I can think of to be free of him. You know as well as I do, I don't get to just up and leave. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to be free of Black Nature too, but don't you think that's something you could do? I can't do it alone. Our gangs, Joseph, they're going to destroy this town. And after we ran away, we'd never be safe. We'd be looking over our shoulders the rest of our lives. That's true. I don't want to run away from things anymore. I want to turn towards a better life with you. Joseph's eyes were sympathetic, but his expression was of discomfort. I think you're right. And I do want to help you, but it's useless in a fight. I can't shoot straight. You don't want to die, Robin. I won't let that happen. I'll keep you safe. We can keep each other safe. You haven't been living your lives, Joseph. Just surviving. Something better than that is worth dying for, I think. A fight feels inevitable. We should face it. If you were that desperate to get out, you nod, head fought against her shoulder. His eyes, that same sigh again, long and heavy, almost theatrical if it weren't for the stakes laid out before you both. I think you're right. A chance like this won't come again. I might even be tempted to call it fate. Should talk to Sheriff again, I think. Somehow, if you can. He yawns. I don't know what we're gonna do. We ain't gonna figure it out when we're bone tired. You should get some sleep. Come morning, we'll talk more. Figure something out, and then hope on a kiss and a prayer that we make it out alive. He chuckles. Ain't that the story of our lives? This will be the last time we have to fight like that. I swear it. You both fall asleep against each other, dreaming of that promise. Praying for a better tomorrow and willing to fight for it. Now, okay, I hope no one dies, because that would be a bit sad. Okay, I'm just drink again. It was in the red morning sun now risen just above the horizon that had woke me up. Nor was it the gentle, slumbering breath of Joseph against your neck, doing its best to lull you back to sleep. It woke you wasn't even the familiar crick at the base of your tail from sleeping on a bedroll. A stiffness you couldn't wait to stretch out. It was your thoughts, all the thoughts in your mind, like so many wild horses running. What may come next, what you both had to do. The nights spent on a lookout were better than the sleepless nights back at the camp, but you still dreaded the dawn that came after. At least you had Joseph this time. At least you had him for what has to come, you hoped. You could feel one big wing of his wrapped around your stomach, shifting as he started to wake at 2 now. As much as you wanted to keep lying there with him for just a few more minutes, you knew you had to get up. Coffee wouldn't brew itself. You peeled back the blanket as slow as you could to let yourself escape, gingerly untucking Joseph's finger from your side. Sliding off the bedroll and through the dirt, you let Joseph's arm down gently. Crouching low on your knees, you gave his hand a gentle squeeze, feeling the soft, dry, dusty feathers beneath your fingertips. Holding this moment in your head that it might stay there. You stood up, dusting yourself off everywhere you could. Time to get ready. Even with Joseph here, your morning routine was mostly the same, just doubled, you supposed. Feed and water the horses, both of them. Make a pot of coffee, double the amount stove. Let it brew for a little longer too, on the same fire as you used last night together. You kept thinking while the coffee boiled. There were many things you didn't have time to think about yet. Even so, unimportant thoughts still rose. An unimportant thought that kept bubbling up was how nice it was to not have the usual knot in your stomach. The tightness that twisted every time at camp when you had to get food or drink. You used the same tools in the same spaces as the others. It was nice not to have to worry right now, you thought about sharing this. Joseph wouldn't complain about having to get coffee from the same pot as you. He wouldn't get angry that you were handling his stuff. Could it have always been this easy? Your stomach rumbling snapped you from your thoughts. Of course, you'd forgotten breakfast. You went back to your bag and unwrapped some salted pork, holding it between your teeth and tearing a chunk off. You always liked how chewy it was when you weren't in a rush. The rhythm of your jaw winding up helped you think. Possibilities were rolling around in your mind. Eyes cast along the branches of a tree, how things might play out, although you couldn't just keep it to yourself now. For better or worse, this was about the two of you. It was both faith and comfort in that thought, as you watched the pot started to bubble and steam. You heard the sound of sleepy, shuffling journeys to see and waking Joseph. He was propped up on the elbow, barely trying to figure out what was in front of him, rubbing his eyes with one winged hand. You saw his pupils contract to the morning sun that was getting brighter and brighter, focusing on you. Good morning, partner. Is that sweet smell of coffee I smell brewing? Not sure I'd call it sweet. He looked into the pot in the dark brown, smell-like substance, reading the large sample you got it. With acid, bitter scent. Well, the idea is sweet to me at least. Stuff's damn near magic far as I'm concerned. With surprising energy for someone who had just woken up, Joseph's whip blanket off him, standing and dusting himself off. Honestly, I think I'm doing a better job reading this time than last time. It's on me still not good, but it's the best I can do. You watched still as he stretched. His fingers locked together, wings pushed and pulled in front and behind. The white feathers of his neck parted and ruffled as he rolled his head around his shoulders. The hem of his shirt, usually tucked in, but now loose after a night of sleep, rising ever so slightly as he twisted his body. He sighed as he finished it. I should not have said that I'm reading good today. Okay. That's why I haven't done a reading game in quite a bit. He sighed as he finished, wings on his hips, and met eyes with you. What you're looking at? Oh, that sounded meaner than I thought. Nothing. A shy smile crept across his face as he tucked his shirt back in and walked over to you. What you eating? Salt pork. There's some in my bag if you want. I think I will thank you kindly. Can you get some cups too? Its coffee looks about done. Look behind you, and Joseph crouched as he dug up into your bag, giving you a quick thumbs up. You turned to the pot again and stirred it with the spoon roll. Joseph came back round and sat besides you, setting 2 tin cups on the ground with one hand. He speaked toward the piece of jerky in his other hand, hungrily swallowing it down after a few chews. He picked up the pot and poured you both a hot cup, eagerly tapping his cup with yours before drinking. Cheers. You both sipped quietly. You could feel the heat of the coffee traveling all the way down your gullet, burning your belly. How did you sleep? Good. Like a pup. Didn't make once. Me too. Slept better than even at the hotel and stayed in on time. I swear, the sheets in that bed were the softest down thing I've ever touched. Sounds nice. It was. Last night was nicer, mind you. There's silence between you now. I'm just gonna prolong the silence a bit for the effect. Like you were both thinking the same thing, thinking about last night, what you talked about. Silence because if neither of you spoke, maybe nothing would happen. Maybe the world would stop turning and the sun would stop rising. Of course, it still does. You can see it, charting its course away from one horizon to the next. So, what's your plan? Joseph shuffled. I just missed it. I just clicked one time too many. We feel cowboy and black culture. That's what we said, right? He nodded. Maybe we don't have to. We could just run away. We talked about that, Joseph. If we run, we'll spend the rest of your lives looking over your shoulder. We'll never really be safe. Yeah, you're right. Besides, have you never thought about it? Of course I have. It's not that simple now. Everyone around him is loyal. I'd be hard to even get the chance. Even if I killed him, I wouldn't get away with my life. And even when I thought about it, what about that ideal world where he's got a bullet in his brains and I'm home free? There's nothing after Robin. I could never see what would happen in the rest of my life. It was blank. Just a desert. If you were to kill him now, what do you see? Joseph looked ahead, thinking. The feathers on his face fluttered in the wind. Something, I suppose. It's nothing at least. Not nothing at least. think maybe I can trust that. Are we really going to be able to kill them though? I don't know. They bleed and die like anyone else. It's just hard to get a chance. At some point, our gangs are going to go to Clemency and take us with them, whether we like it or not. I think we should try to use that to our advantage. Unfamiliar place, for them at least. What about everyone in town? They shouldn't have to be involved in this. They're already involved, we can't change that. I just wonder if any of them would help us. I doubt it. You think you looked at Joseph and he turned to look at you too, his brow furrowed. Sheriff? You felt cold dread wash over you, even in the heat of the morning sun. No, I don't think Sheriff wants anything to do with us. We'd be dead before we even crossed the town line, remember? I know, it's just there was something about it, how Sheriff was when we were told to leave. I know if I fully believed it. Sorry, Joseph, I think that's just wishful thinking. Hey, you listen to me now, I ain't making it up. Cliff was suddenly sterner, the timidness that had been in his voice now gone. I'm telling you, Sheriff, I don't think Sheriff wanted to tell us to leave. There was something far too sad about it. You saw it too, right? You're not imagining it. You fought back, it had hurt too much to dwell on it, but now you thought about it, you had to agree. It wasn't like other times when you've been exiled or barred from places. There was anger, but there was also frustration, disappointment. It was normal. You might be right. Even so, I don't think we can go waltzing back to Clemency and expect Sheriff to welcome us with open arms. We still don't even have a plan. I think we need to talk to Sheriff. Even if we don't have a plan, Sheriff needs to know what's coming. Yeah, you're right. I just don't know how. We need to get to Sheriff without being seen, ideally. I don't want to risk getting shot, however unlikely. Without being seen. Set your coffee down, getting up and walking to the edge of the cliff. You didn't need binoculars to see the shape of the town from up here, how the land moved and swallowed down towards the building. You looked around the cliff, the opposite direction to where you'd gone yesterday. Hey, Joseph, I think if we ride our horses this way, we could maybe get to the town from the back. Sheriff's office is at the back of the town there. If we surrender ourselves, we might get to talk to Sheriff. Joseph got up from where he was and walked over to you, looking around the cliff where you were pointing, sipping his coffee. Yeah, that could work. But not a fan of the idea. Oh no, we can do that. This coffee is just mildly vile. He held the cup over the edge and tipped it upside down, the brown sludge falling into the sand below. Let's get going. We don't have much time for both of us will be needing to head back to our gangs. Yeah, of course. You took one last look on the cliff face, then started helping Joseph clean up the camp, making haste to get on your horses. So this time we're taking the horses with us. That's good, I think. You rode as quick as you could down the cliff face, taking a long route around the back of the town. Climbing off your horses, you tied them up out of sight behind a rocky outcropping. You started your cautious walk to the edge of the town together, cautious about being spotted. Sheriff's voice was right in front of you. The squad building backing up onto the side of the desert. 2 square windows were cut into this face of the building, almost in the frame from where bars once were. As you got closer, you listened out to anything that might tell you where Sheriff was. The rhythmic tapping of wood carried on the wind to you from the front porch. I don't think it's gonna go as far as they think it's gonna go. But honestly, I don't think I have another choice. Carefully, you and Joseph sidled up to the building. Sticking close to the side, you shuffled along the stone wall, cold in the shade. At the edge, you slowly peeked your head out, squinting through the morning sun. Sheriff was sitting on the porch outside, looking out into the town, cane tapping idly on the wooden boards you hadn't been noticed yet. You pulled your head back and nodded to Joseph. him nodding back in turn. You both drew your guns back to the wall and called out, "Sheriff?" You heard the panic shuffling of someone getting out of that chair, then cocking of a gun. "Who goes there?" It says Sheriff. Joseph and Robin, you mean you no harm. As you hear Sheriff's footstep coming towards you around the corner, you both put your hands up, guns hanging limply by the fingertips. You step back from the building and out of the shade as Sheriff came to face you, a gun loosely pointed at your direction. "What am I looking at here? Why are you back? Are you surrendering?" "Yeah, kinda, Sheriff. We need to talk, for real this time." "Oh yeah? I'm supposed to believe any collywobble you say now, am I?" No, we betrayed your trust. We lied to you about why we were here, but we didn't lie about the danger to the town. Asking you for a chance to explain ourselves." Sheriff's brow was furrowed. You could see that even under the tough and scaled skin, a few moments of silence passed between you. Sheriff holstered the gun slowly and calmly, then the click of it, letting you breathe freely again. "Come into the office, then, if we have things to discuss." You gave each other a look of relief. The sheriff turned and walked back. You put your guns away as well and followed the lizard round. The office was darker inside than yesterday, the morning sun not quite shining in the same way. Sheriff stood with both hands on the cane, face curious and stern, still untrusting. "So, boys, what do we need to talk about?" You looked at Joseph, and he met your eyes. They were darting about in the small way they do, even when you're focusing on a point. He gave you a little wink. That was all you needed. Yesterday, when we told you about those outlaws heading there, that wasn't a lie. Well, I guess it wasn't. It was a white lie. Our gangs know about this place, and they're gonna be coming here, gold or not. So you're scouting our town out. Makes sense. Still, I don't see what's stopping you from lying about this town. Both know we can't do much to defend us all from a whole gang. So frankly, if I'm picking up what you're putting down, and you don't want to hurt us, then just lie to him. Tell him we're armed to a thief, scare him off, they won't be stupid enough to still try. I guess we could, but what? Look, I appreciate you trying to just come clean and help somehow, but this ain't your business, you see? It's not one gang, it's two. I'm from the Curly Wolf gang. I'm from Black Vultures. You're from two different gangs? Well, you seem so friendly with each other. The thing is, Sheriff, we don't want to work for them anymore. Curly Wolf and Black Vulture, we want to kill them. We need each other's help to do that. We can't do it alone, you see? Your heart was beating fast in your chest, saying it out loud, saying it to Sheriff changed him. Before you could convince yourselves otherwise, you took Joseph's hand in yours, kissing tight as you stood next to him. Yeah, besides, there's no guarantee we'd be able to convince them not to come here even if we did lie to them. We need your help too, Sheriff. Sheriff's face remained stern, or maybe concerned, you thought. Eyebrows flat across his eyes, thinking. Boys are sure about this? This is what you have to do? Yes. Yeah. Joseph's hand moved, ensuring the grip of his fingers interlocked with yours. Getting a little old for things like this, but alright. I can't in good consciousness endanger the people in this town, but I think I might be able to help. Sheriff got up and started pacing. So, you two gangs, they're both gonna come here? Yeah, I know Curly Wolf for sure. Vulture is bored, I can tell. He's itching to do something. Any history between them? Any scuffles? They fight or make a truce if they met. Like Vulture has said before, he'd fight Curly Wolf, but I don't know if Curly even knows he exists. Curly Wolf wouldn't work with another gang unless he had to. I don't think he'd give up this place so easily. Seems to me like them meeting up would be beneficial to our goals, don't you agree? A fight between them would be chaotic, but maybe that's what we need. Someone might even finish them off for us. It would be dangerous for us though too. Well now, hold on. When do the lookouts get caught in a scuff? Almost no, unless he started. If anything, we should be the safest ones out of the bunch. You're right, you're right. We can delay their arrival, then I might have a solution for you. Once he gets supplies monthly, they arrive by train about a day and a half's ride from here. That's where the nearest station is. Since it's a whole town supplies and the trip is long, everyone in Clemency goes in a wagon together. Easiest and safest for all of us. As luck would have it, that's in 3 days. So the towns be completely empty? That is so, I can guarantee that. You ride early in the morning and ain't back till the next day. You got your gangs here on that day and do what you need to do. Best I can come up with on a short notice. Oh, that's actually convenient. That would work, not like we have any other plan. And anything could happen, but it's better than nothing. Thanks for happening so fast. Sheriff really wanted to help. This was incredible. Was this really happening? Was this something we could do? 3 days, right? We have to both be here in 3 days. Do you think you can do that? I think we can. Honestly, they could just say, oh yeah, the town is gonna be empty in 3 days, let's just go that day. That would just be perfect, I guess. Joseph looked at you, both of you holding each other's hand tightly. We have to. Good. And thank you for trusting me with this. You took a real gamble coming back here. Thank you, Sheriff, really and truly. Hope to see you again when this is over. God willing, you'll make a good on that, promise. For sure. I think we both need to get going now. We'll be expected back today. Yeah, we need to start riding soon. Godspeed then, both of you. Keep yourself safe. You felt sick to your stomach and light on your feet. You nodded at Sheriff and left, still holding Joseph's hand. Now comes a bit of the whiskey part. With your horses, you made last-minute checks on your bags, ensuring everything was secure for the long trip back. 3 days from now, you'll be back, both of you. Some part of you dreaded needing to start this journey, lingering on the feeling of standing here, not moving. So much has changed since you got here. Now you might be risking it all. Doesn't feel fair, the idea of losing something you only just found, only just got the chance for. You shoved it down though, the ride back was long, you didn't need that kind of bargain, drowning at your heart. Pity for you that every time you saw his face, you had a glance as he checked your saddle. It all came rising to the top once more. Like a drowning man pushed under the waves, breaching the surface again as he refused to sink. I think I'm all ready. Me too. Joseph stood by your side now, waiting for you to turn and look at him. You contemplated just getting in the saddle, not lingering for longer than you had to. You felt the light touch of his hand on your soft shoulder. Twisting, pressing your face now over his shoulder, arms clinging round his side. You were holding him before you could think. Aw, oh look at them. I was hoping they would hug. Aw. Joseph said nothing. He did nothing too, for a moment until you felt the weight of his arms on your back tightly clinging to you. He took a great fistful of his clothes between your fingers where they lay. And as you held him tighter, he squeezed you even more. You wouldn't care right now if he squeezed you hard enough to break a rib. Oh, Robin. Hands on his neck tickled your face and poked your closed eye. You could feel the way his hand bent as he leaned ever so slightly over you. You don't know how long the hug lasted, but eventually you let go. Oh, look at them, they're so awkward now. You could feel imprints on your skin from where their hardness of his clothes, his buttons, his belt, stuck into you. Still, you didn't mind. He held you, still facing each other, holding each other's arm, looking at each other. Joseph's eye flicked around your face into the top of your head, holding his gaze there for a moment before leaning in. You felt the gentle part of his beak on your scalp, the sharp edges tugging at your fur. You pressed, leaned through a few more times, pulling gently and spinning the loose hair to the side. Then he pulled back, his face a little sheepish. There, that's better. Need to look your best when you go back. Oh, that's cute. But your mama said it was impolite to use your beak, hmm? Well, she's not here. Besides, I think you fit the criteria. Oh, get them how awkward they are now. Thank you. Your cheeks were hot and flushed with what felt like all the blood in your body. You were sure you could see the same under his feathers. I see you in 3 days, you hear? Yeah. You'll kill those bastards. Yeah. You nodded. His hand trailed your arms as he walked away to his horse. You got up in your saddle too, the reins familiar to your hand. Joseph trotted his horse round up alongside you, facing the opposite way. Well, partner, time to go. Wait, Joseph, just promise me, if something goes wrong, you'll run. Promise? Killing them isn't worth it if you die too. If you run, I run. They ain't worth the effort of dying. You smiled at him with the same type of smile as when you left home, weak and worn, but relieved at the same. Goodbye, Robin. See you soon, Joseph. You both started your horses moving, gently trotting until you were no longer beside each other. You hear Joseph skipper. I don't know how to say that. And his horse set off with speed, kicking up dust into the air when you looked behind you. So now we'll be probably seeing more of the gang. Or the place where it's staying, at least. You set your own horse into a gallop, the rush of the wind in your ears as you rode through and out of Clemency. Back to your gang, back to the many men you were plotting to kill. Look, that's the gang. The place of them. The midway sun hung harsh and bright in the sky as you made it back to the camp. You and your horse both tired from the ride. The current hideout of Curly Wolf and Co. was a ramshackle affair, nestled in the depths of rolling hills, hidden from the sight of any passerby. Riding slowly in, you climbed off your horse onto the sun-baked ground and led it over to tie it up with the others. The smell of food wafted, but you could see people cleaning up already. You'd missed lunch. As you made to leave the horse, a sudden thought struck you, and you doubled back to scramble about it in your bag. Where was it? You hadn't left it behind, surely. Is it Okay, let's see. You tickle with panic that had started to leak into your chest thankfully stopped as your fingers felt the soft brush of what you were looking for. Pulled the feather Joseph gave you out of your bag, putting it closer to yourself. You let out a short gasp of sigh. I knew it. I knew this was what Robin was looking for. Well, luckily he didn't lose it, which is surprising because it's just a little feather, but... Hey, tomboy. Your ears pricked up and you stood up straight at the sound of Curly Wolf shouting at you. You hastily tucked your feather away in your pocket. Oh, look at him. He has some claws. You turned and made your way over to Curly, eyes down at the ground, avoiding the looks of the others. You know how things work around here, don't you, tomboy? Yes. Curly grabbed a handful of your poncho, pulling you forward, stumbling before roughly showing you off your feet onto the bag. You'd learned how to take a fall by now. You didn't scramble, you just let yourself lay in the dirt for a moment, waiting. Get up. You pressed your hand to the ground and got up, not too fast and not too slow. Bella still got a laugh out of this routine, but you were too bored of it to be embarrassed anymore. If you know how things work, then I shouldn't have to punish you for not doing what you're told. When you come back, you come straight to me with what you found. You don't stand around playing with your little horsey. Yes, boss. Right, come on then, spin it out. I found a town, place called Clemency. It's got some gold from mines, but no bank or anything like that. What would you say now? If Curly knew Sheriff was the only person there who even resembled the lawman, he'd just go barging right down. This line was crucial. He couldn't catch you out. Place looked armed to the teeth, even so. All the town folks had some way of defending themselves, no gun laws like other places. Well then, I was hoping it'd be a breeze. We need an easy one right now. I found out from the sheriff that the place is gonna be empty soon. We are focused on a hill in the distance, not daring to look directly at him. On the edge of your vision, you could see cross-eyed narrow, staring at your face, studying it. Oh, come. I heard that they retrieve supplies from the town every so often. The next caravan drive is in 3 days. Whole town's going to be going. It'll be empty and unguarded. The suspicion in Curly's eyes smouldered into a smugness. A grin split his face from ear to ear. Now that isn't an easy win. He tugged his face away from you, shouting into the air of the camp. Oh, it's 3 days from now, we're gonna be rich. He walked away, around the camp, kept talking, hyping it up, and rallying everyone up for what was to come. You didn't need to listen anymore. Your job was done for now. You went back to being invisible, staying out of the way, the usual. That night the hills were full of the sound of howling, cheering, drunken sounds, and a curly wolf gang immaturely celebrating their victory. This was a bigger deal than you had maybe anticipated. In any case, your goal was the same, and they didn't know what was coming. I mean, obviously they will be very pleased with that, considering that in the start of the game they said that they really need to go because the last things failed quite a bit for them, so obviously they'll be very, very happy about all of this. Kelly Wolf didn't know what was coming. He was the cockiest you'd ever seen him. The days after were a blur. If you weren't needed to help with some menial work somewhere in camp, you were just sleeping in your tent, trying to avoid the blazing heat, keeping out of everyone's way like you always did. Waiting just like everyone else for the day you tried out. Oh, it's this guy. The night before you were due to leave, you snuck out of your tent, out where no one would see you. Away from the camp, the sound of it echoing loudly through the air, you clambered halfway down a hill and said, "You didn't do this often. Who knew when someone might have come to your tent, needing to drag you away for something? You could risk it often, being unfindable, but you thought it important enough to do tonight. Come out here and breathe in the cool night air. To stare into the sky, across the horizon, at the blanket of stars in the sky. Trying to pinpoint constellation you were told about when you were much younger. You wondered if Joseph knew any. You didn't think about it at the time. The feather was in your pocket still, the safest place you could think to keep it. At night, when the lights were out and the tent was filled with the sound of someone snoring, you'd hold it in your hand, flicking through it with the claw on your thumb, feeling the smoothness against your fingers. Hold it before you put it back. It helped to get you to sleep. Again now, while you were alone and sitting under the stars, you pull it out of your pocket. I don't know if this is a good idea. Fiddling with it in your hand, feeling the tickle the pads of your palm. Your mind wanted to wander, to think about important things, to think about all the ways tomorrow could go wrong, to think about what might happen to you both. You didn't let it. The feather helped you. For once you just let yourself be calm. You'll see him tomorrow. Until then, worrying would do no good. You imagined that was the kind of thing he'd say to you if he were here, sitting next to you. The imagined weight of his head on your shoulder, the thought of his arm sailed up next to you. All the things you wouldn't feel again if you lost him. You'll see him tomorrow. Okay, so everything went well. I was a bit worried that because Goblin snuck out, he would be caught. Being there alone, that would raise some suspicion, but I guess not. I guess I'm just all paranoid that something bad will happen. It's the morning. You're awake early, you didn't sleep much anyway, as much as you tried to. The sun was as bright as always, coming through the yellowed fabric of the tent. You lay awake, waiting for others to get up, waiting for Curly Wolf. He'd start rallying guys together for the ride to Clemency soon enough. You needed to make sure you were there. The minutes ticked by and you had more people get up. The camp coming to life once more with the sound of work and talk. You got up and got yourself ready, sitting on the bedroll after and waiting more. Then the voice of Curly Wolf. All right, boys, get around. We're heading to the town of Clemency this morning. 10 or so men with me to haul valuables. It's about a half a day's ride from here. Who's coming to get our gold? Let's look at how many there are. I like that they still look a bit different. You had all this as you were leaving your tent, making your way to the small crowd of canines. Instantly, there were people joining, eager to prove themselves to get their hands on real gold. 1, 2, 3 already. You sadly pushed your way through the crowd, trying to reach the front. Pushed out the edge of the crowd by the huddling bodies, you found yourself standing in front of Curly. Stared at you even as he clapped the hands and shoulders of other guys walking past, joining the excitable crowd. But you're standing there for a tomboy. You don't need any more pups to help shift the goods. You needed to be on the screw. You couldn't talk back to him though. You didn't know what to say. What could you say? You just kept standing there. You think you're gonna be of any help with this scrawny stick? You grabbed your arm, raising it up and down, shaking it by the wrist. Every inch of you was screaming to snatch your arm from the sand, but you knew what would happen if you did. If your arm back at you, make you stumble low. Go make yourself use of someplace else. I only need real men for this trip. You had to say something, you had to. You had to be there. You'll need a lookout. You was looking at the assembled group doing a quick head count. Alright boys, that's 10. Be ready to move out in 5 minutes. He didn't seem to hear you. Your words were quiet, whispered. Try again. You'll need a lookout, Curly. His ears twitched. He still didn't turn his face to you. Heard you the first time. Stop yapping at me. You don't know when the townsfolk will be back. It'll be bad if they come back while you're there, and even worse if there's no one to keep an eye out. Y'all will have your hands full already. Let him sigh, and a little growl rose in his throat before it subsided into nothing. Fine then, Tomboy, if you're that eager to come, I suppose I have to let you. You're riding in a wagon. You don't need a horse. No, you didn't get that privilege when other people needed them, you supposed. The wagon was fine by you. You knew it was a punishment of kinds, that you'd be riding it in. You'd be riding it in on the way back too, along with everything else. Boxes and sacks of supplies and whatnot, all bumping about, hopping, none of them fall over, hoping no one of them fall over and hit you. Empty space with nowhere to sit or lie, just standing for hours waiting for it to stop. Better move on. He followed after Curly to get ready. Of course, what Curly didn't know was that they weren't going to be coming back here. You know if you were. Okay then. From where you sat, slumped in the corner of the wagon, the wind whistled through the gaps in the canvas next to your head. The edges flap, the wind ruffling your clothes and your fur, drying up your nose as you sit with your knees up. The wagon rocks and bumps and is dragged by horse through the desert. And this corner is the only place you feel safe enough to stay. You could at least keep yourself steady, even as it tried to knock you about, clinging onto the wooden frame. Looking towards the entrance of the wagon, where the covering split down the middle, you couldn't see much. Rather, what you could see were great clouds of dust, blowing out from the wheels and into the dry air. As uncomfortable as the wagon was, at least it provided you shelter from the sun, unlike riding on horseback. The winds coursing past your ears were welcome too, cooling your head that was swimming with thoughts. You knew you were close to Clemency now. The entourage had been traveling long enough. As you got closer and closer, the minutes stretched out. You felt sick to your stomach. Less so butterflies, more like hornets. This was going to be it. It was what you'd been waiting for, not just for days, but years really. A chance like this. All the anxieties and concerns you pushed down last night were rushing back up, like cases. What if Joseph wasn't there? What if his gang wasn't there? What if you reached Clemency and Curly realized you were lying? What if you couldn't kill them both? Or they demolished the town and Sheriff came back to find nothing left? To find you'd broken your promise? What if you were killed, quickly or slowly? seen Curly killed traitors before. The simplest fear of dying took hold of you, took hold of your heart, the chill of the Reaper's shadow. No, this wasn't going to be it. This isn't all there was going to be. See him again soon. You do what you had to together. This wasn't going to be it. There would be more after. It was hard for you to imagine, but you knew it to be true. There would be days after today. You wanted to see them. And if you die, at least it was for a reason. You sure as heck weren't going to go out without a fight. This was a risk you'd always be willing to take. You and Joseph would take it together, and you were going to see it through. You steeled your resolve, locking the furnace of your heart so that no one may put it out. The rumble of the wagon started to slow. The walking back and forth became gentler and gentler, till everything came to a stop with a small lurch. The constant motion that had been in your body was gone all of a sudden. Everything seemed impossibly still. Like when they made the many conversations in a bar all died down suddenly, leaving it quiet in a strange moment. You heard the thud of Curly jumping off his horse and crawled the floor of the wagon to the front. Curly came and opened the low wooden door, letting you slide off the wagon and jump out. The light of the late morning sun was blinding, and you held your arms over your brow to shelter your eyes. As your eyes adjusted, the bright desert became clearer. Hazy rocks formations in the distance became familiar. Walking around the wagon, you saw the shapes of buildings attached to the edge. The town of Clemency. Here we are, boys. No one here, please. We'll take what we are here for and leave sharply. You won't know what hit him. Ain't that right, tomboy? Slapped you hard on the back. There was an anticipation in the air amongst yourselves. This was the place they'd been waiting for. You'd be waiting for it too, but anticipation was not one of the eagerness. Even if your brief visit here many things had happened. In some way, being back in Clemency was comforting. Despite that, you couldn't ignore the chill in your veins at the prospect of what will come next. There was no backing down now. You felt like those few times in the past when the fuse on a stick of dynamite had been lit and you were still holding it. There was only going to be a few moments more before the spark reached the end of the wick. Okay. Kelly started walking into the town, and you followed suit with everyone else, staying close behind them. Clemency was dead quiet, not a soul inside, just like sheriffs said it'd be. You studied the town as you walked down the main street, peering through windows, drawing up plans in his head. Every building you walked past filled you with a little more fear. You were still waiting for something to happen, for anyone else to appear. Soon enough, Curly would want to get started for real, and ask you where the gold was supposed to be. Then, at the end of the street, you saw what you were waiting for, who you were waiting for. A hazy, clumped group of guys making their way up onto the main street from the other side of the town. As they got closer, it became clearer. The figure... Oh, okay, interesting. Of a tall and slender bird with many others in town straggling behind him, much like you behind Curly. Curly stopped as he spotted the group too, staring him down. The music. Okay, now I will just save it honestly. And just load it again. I'll just bring something in again. It's honestly, there's so much talking. I'm not quite sure. Should I maybe put a Twitch warning out? Or maybe not. Actually, I totally forgot there were like content warnings for this thing. Let me see, do I still have them saved or do I change it back? Oh wait, that's not the, that's not the right one. Wait for it. It's without an S, I think. This time? Yeah, that's the one. Look, these are the contra warnings. Because you know, maybe this is the time of the stream where it might get a bit more serious. Who knows? So thinking I'll just do that. Honestly, why not? I will just put down the should I? Honestly, I will just put on the rating for this. Either way, it's not like anyone will actually watch the stream right now, but just in case, because it's better than not having a warning, right? Okay, let's continue. Now, who is dead in my town? He started walking again, with purpose and menace, and he quickened the pace in turn towards you. Felt your heart beating in your chest now, reaching up at your throat, blood rushing, adrenaline starting to build in you. They were really here, and you could see Curly wasn't happy about it. Both sides slowed as they came closer to each other, coming to a stop halfway through the street, a few dozen paces between them. Not too close, not too far. You saw Black Vulture much more clearly now. He was looking with intrigue and Curly. You looked past him though, desperately reaching a small crowd of people following in his wake. You saw the one you'd been waiting for. Joseph, yay! Joseph, stony-faced and stern, blending in with his compatriots. It was almost funny to compare to the laid-back and jovial man you'd gotten to know. After a few moments longer of staring each other down, Black Vulture spoke. Oh well, isn't that what I think it is? The famous Curly Wolf? What's it to you, and what are you doing in my town? Well, I'd imagine we're both here so much the same reason. I've heard tales of your exploits. Can't say the same, who are you? I'm Black Vulture, gentleman, outlaw of the... Doesn't ring a bell. The feathers of Black's neck clearly ruffled at Curly's rebuttal. But he waved it odd. More fool of you, I say. You're here for the gold then. Yes, and how strange that might run into each other like this. I'm willing to bet you're not a sharing man. Like I said, this is Curly Wolf property now, so you best go on and fly away. No, I don't think we both beat Curly. I think it would be a shame for so much gold to be wasted on someone like you. Should keep that high-fatted beak of yours shut, unless you want to barrel of a gun inside it. Let us see then, Curly Wolf. To the victor go the spurs, and I intend to spill that tiny brain of yours across the dirt. Fine by me, don't need much of a brain to shoot you. This wasn't how you'd wanted things to go. You and Joseph were still in the thick of it, facing each other. You thought you'd be out of the fight. Yeah, was still, hands came to the hum over guns, every pair of eyes trained on the closing side, waiting. Standing up like this, it was a test of the mental fortitude. How long would anyone last before pulling the trigger? Trying to psych each other out, being the first to take a shot wasn't always the best call. Having to react to that first shot could be worse. It was a test of loyalty too, for everyone following them. Your underlings couldn't step out of line or take the shot themselves. To break rank early would be a betrayal. When bullets went flying, it was unpredictable. Staying meant a risk to yourself. You knew Curly was a good shot, he had the upper hand there. But you were reminded of something Joseph told you. Black Vulture wasn't the shoelist. He had someone else for that. He could brag, but he wasn't the real one. He thought about whether Kelly should know. I don't know. Wait. I will save that. I'll just load it, and I will. First of all, I think I should keep quiet. I'll see if whatever bring off me, because if we keep quiet, maybe he'll get shot. The fact that she was in a fight was a danger for you as well as Joseph if things got heavy. It was risky, but if Curly knew, then the fight may be over sooner. Boss, I thought about Black Vulture. Curly sighed like you, like someone with a jaw that has spoken out of line. What about? It's not the shooters, he's got someone else for that. When I heard, can't shoot straight himself. Slight contempt on Kelly's face towards you disappeared, moving into something more contemplative, studying the crowd. I see him. Got his number now. Maybe you're not so useless after all, Bixby. A cruel feeling of pride rose in you that you wanted to burn and bury. I'm not sure if you found the right guy, honestly. The second dragged on. Felt as though the very breath might have the scales chest heavy from the air of people who wanted to kill you. There was a safety in numbers in the crowd. Even so, you find yourself for the first time thinking about running. Never before had you considered it. This time was different, of course. There wasn't going to be a next time. Running would tip the scales for sure, but you couldn't know in whose favor. Play it safe with the gang, or run let all hell break loose. So now I'm getting the choices, now when it's actually matters. Okay. How about I just do all the choices I wouldn't want to do? Because I can still go back, I saved just in case. Okay, no, I will just stay, okay? I think that's the best choice. No, if you run, you might make yourself a target. Better to stick with the gang until they're scattered. He spoke up in a low voice. Yes, to those behind him. Watch your man, boys. He flexed the wrist of his hand, holding it out before clutching his gun to his holster. You saw Black Vulture react in turn, reaching for his gun. Curly liked to play with his food, to show off. He waited for the moment Black grabbed his gun in the same, then quickly and expertly pulled the tree, pointing it dead straight. He knew he'd always be quick on the draw. Okay. The deafening noise of a gun going off did not come as expected. Curly kept his arm locked straight down the street. Black pulled his gun too. That wasn't what Curly was waiting for. Not quite. The hall behind Black, a small masked bird brought the rifle to rest on his shoulder, aiming down the island towards you all. Towards Curly. Gotcha. Your whole body jumped as the shot rang out. The telltale whiz of a bullet down the street was cut short as it hit the small shooters. He flailed and fell back with a spray of blood from his head, falling into the crowd. Honestly, I think that was a bit... I knew I shouldn't choose this one, because now it will be a bit difficult for the other gang to get Curly, and that would be a bit of a problem for us. Actually, the air shadowed like glass and all sides scattered, kicking up dust in the wake. Black started to run too, but Curly stayed just as he was, gun held out, his arm swung and dragged Black's movement as he ran. He fired another shot, and Black stumbled and fell, tumbling across the ground and out of sight behind the building. You know what to do, boys. Take him out of me. I'm going hunting. They turned and sinked away before the fight started for real. They are now filling with the cracks and props of gunshots. Locked down in a way, away from the main street, and you quickly followed, catching up to tail end. Yeah, that was a bad choice. That's why I didn't want to choose that. But I'll first do to see what will happen. We followed him into the main side clump of houses that lined the street, fell his shadows as he headed to the other side. Emerged at the edge of a hill that sloped into the town. Kelly had stopped just around the corner and noticed you as you came out to. You really are eager today. Help me find that dandy playing cowboy, and I might rot you if he gets aboard. I fixed the eyes. He kept on walking the curve to the hill, past the many houses with you in town, until close behind the guns both drawn. Maybe this would work out for the best. Curly taking all black for you would be mighty convenient. Kelly strode with caution, bravado, even as you neared the other end of town, where Black's gang was holed up. No one was around to spot you. They had become laden with the smell of gunpowder from the fight in the street. No, but Black had retreated to exactly. We were behind enemy lines at this point, so you had to be close by. As you started to approach the end of the street, large figures scurried out from behind the house, walking away from you. Looking close, you realized it wasn't a figure, but two figures. One carrying the other with the arm slung across the shoulder. It was Joseph. He was helping Black sway from the right, seemingly heading for Joe's office at the end of the town. I knew this would happen. I knew it would. Curly muttered. There you are. He started walking again. I think we could just shoot him probably, but we could just shoot Curly and then that'd be all if he does anything. Started walking again, softly and quickly, sneaking up closer. You followed suit, the pace of your heart starting to pick up. The two birds slowed down as they passed the town wall, the loud shadow of voices making its way to you on the wind. Curly stopped. He raised his revolver slowly, arms held straight, taking his time, reminding you of a hunter in the woods, calm and collected as he raised his rifle, silent set of skittish creatures. By luck or circumstance, or just fear, Mike took a glance behind him. Just a moment, you saw the glint of the sun in his eyes. Even as he turned his head back, he realized what he'd seen and made panicked movements, grabbing at Joseph and stumbling about. He pulled Joseph in front of him to face you, grasping his shoulder with one hand, his underarm wrapped across Joseph's neck. Using him as a living shield without a second thought, Joseph himself went wide-eyed, struggling for a moment before thinking better of it. Kelly's arm went a little limp, again tilted towards the ground, but his gaze was still fixed on his target. It was like he was looking for Joseph. Oh yeah, no, I should have expected that too, but I didn't think he would use him as a shield. What makes this situation a bit more difficult? The beat of your heart was thumping now and then in your ears, almost drowning out the loud shots that came from the street. Kelly grumbled with a low growl as he squinted at Black's sorry display. Forward. His arms straightened, again elbow locked, his head cocked to the side, lining up the barrel of the heads. Okay, so this is probably not a good ending for all of this. A chill went down your spine, so cold that you forgot you were in the desert. You were standing on end, body stiff but trembling. You stared at his back. It was like a rock wall, immovable. You were scared of the possibility of even approaching him, even with his back turned. You felt like you were going to pass out, your whole body swaying, as if the ground underfoot was shifting, fear taking hold of you in your heart. You slowly lurched forward, your sense of balance giving out as you started to fall to the ground. As your whole body started to tilt, you thought your feet had been rooted to the ground. Spin forward. One foot stopped your fall, the other following and launching you towards Curly. Before you knew it, you were running at him. There were only a few paces between you and him, but in that moment, you knew he wasn't unstoppable. He was at the most dangerous man you'd ever met. And you were going to stop him. You were going to kill him. Now though, you stuck in a couch as you ran, opening your arms wide, and crashed into his legs. Your head and shoulders knocked into the back of his knee, and you threw your arms around his leg, pushing against the ground. Almost instantly, Curly fell over, his balance so cut off that he could do help himself was twisted around as his massive brain toppled. He fell beside you, hitting the ground face and hands first, his legs falling out of your hold as he twisted. Your body was filled with a rush when you heard him hit the ground. You jumped up on your knees and sprang to your feet. There was no time to waste where you had an upper hand. You were just running on instinct. You took a step towards him and kicked hard at his hand, foot connecting with his revolver and spinning it across the sand. It span away to the edge of the hill, resting and tilting for a moment before tumbling down. Kelly was still trying to figure out what was going on, and you didn't give him the chance to catch up before he started running. Ran at full power towards Black and Joseph. Joseph kept still, Blake's arms still tight around his throat, and head pressed behind his back. Joseph, move! Joseph tapped at the arm around his throat, and to his surprise, Black relinquished, even pushing Joseph aside. The side of his shirt was stained red, clutching and holding a hand to himself. His face was one of relief, but quickly changed as he laid eyes on you, a frantic and sprinting coyote who somehow knew Joseph's name. He thought someone who knew Joseph's name would have to be another like you of his. His confusion remained deep-seated in his brow, even as you ran fast and punched him hard in the gut, making him collapse to his knees. That ached all in your joints, and you shook it off, looking at Joseph, whose eyes were wide and surprised but lit up with delight. Holy hell, howdy to you too. He looked over at your shoulder at Curly, who was already sinking off down the hillside to get his gun, tips of his ears just disappearing. No time for howdies. We've gotta kill this guy and get out of here. Curly waits for no one. Joseph understood what you meant, his face becoming solemn. He had reached up to his shotgun but froze as it touched the stock. Look how feisty they look. You could see the trepidation in his eyes. The figure of Black looked over in pain reflected in his keen gaze. You understood the thoughts, the doubts you were also wrestling with about what you were doing. Dreams of cutting down the people who made your life miserable didn't quite match up to the reality. You gingerly reached your hand out onto his, squeezing gently. We can do it together, like we promised. Joseph, still looking at Black, took a deep breath and sighed even deeper. He nodded. His hand shifted under yours and his finger wrapped around his shotgun, pulling it from its holster, and you pulled with him, stepping closer. Your arms crossed where your hands held on the stock, Joseph's other hand holding the barrel. The wind whistled in your ears, the feathers of Joseph's neck ruffling. Your shadows cast across Black as he knelt in the sand. He didn't raise his head as he spoke. Are you? You thought for a second. It felt like there weren't many things you could say. You weren't sure any of them were true anyhow. Have another lookout, that's all. Black scoffed. That's all? You're a stranger about to kill me. You won't even give me the dignity of a name. I'm not sure you earned that kind of right, Black. I don't think I earned an execution at your hands either, Joseph, yet here we are. Standing so close to Joseph, shoulder to shoulder, you could feel him freeze up. His face was blank, but his eyes gave him away. Looking about. Whatever plan your friend has come up with here, you don't have to go along with it, Joseph. You're smarter than that. Find that gun somewhere else and help me, so I can help you. We can move past this. I don't believe you. You must think I'm real stupid to try and get me to go along with you. Maybe I was grateful to you once. We're way past that now, the idea that you're gonna help me. That dog don't hunt. This has been a long time coming. There ain't an honest bone in your body, Black, and you deserve every pellet of this. Black was silent, head still bowed, face covered by the brim of his hat. Yes, I suppose you're right. I don't think you're as smart as I gave you credit for. You rolled with the best, you know that, Joseph, don't you? Gentleman outlaw of the West. Stupid boy. Wouldn't know a kindness if it's bad in his face. You couldn't even tell if he was talking anymore to anyone but himself anymore. Joseph's brow furrowed. He felt his hand shift underneath yours and finger passed over the trigger and squeezed. The blast was deafening, the butt of the shotgun rocking you both. Your ears were burning as the gun smoke rose into the air. Black fell hard in the sand, his punctured and bleeding body leaving a streak of blood where he landed. His arms moved for a moment like it might have been rubbing at the ground in the dry grass of the desert. There was a tension of the way he lay there, but as the dirt was stained a dark brown, it disappeared, lying totally still. Joseph turned. Look at Trouble looks so okay. Pulled away from you, wrapping your hands around his beak. His whole chest heaved with quiet breaths. Joseph, you reached your hand out to him, but you but your whole body tensed as your ears flicked to the sound of something down the hill. Don't move a muscle, Beaky. I know you see me. Joseph was still now, too. He was looking out across the hill, but to his right, a dozen or so paces away, Curly was peering over the ledge. His gun was drawn, and Joseph dared not to move, as Curly clearly knew he'd seen him in the corner of his eye already. Ophir turned around, hands up, facing no finished business. You both turned slowly, backing up a little as Curly climbed up the hill, forward trained on you all the while. Shot a few steps away from the edge. Gun now held lazily with his elbow on his hip, but in between you two. Shouldn't have to tell you to drop the gun, Birdbrain. Joseph flicked his wrist and tossed his shotgun aside, eyes locked with Curly's. Curly reached a hand up to his face, rubbing his chin and flexing his jaw, thinking some confusion running across his brow. Real pain in the ass, don't you pulled back there, tomboy. Can't you explain? Who's your friend here? You shifted your way from your foot, full of nervous energy, racking your brain to think of what to say. He had immediately assumed you betrayed him. Not yet. You'd be on the ground begging for mercy by now if that's what he came. If that was the case. You'd been still playing along till this point, helping me out, backing him up, tipping him off. He didn't like you, but you just about wormed your way into his good books. You can use that. Just keep playing along. This is Joseph. He's one of Black's lot. We met a few days ago and made a truce. You relaxed your arms in the air while slouching to and putting on airs that you were less tense than you really were. He didn't like Black much, so we set up a plan to kill him and he'd come join our gang. Looked at Joseph for a few moments, meeting his eyes, seeing that he understood where you're going with that reassurance. I know he's not a usual fit, but he is a good and smart, hard worker. When it looked like you were gonna shoot him, I panicked. I had to stop you. I can only apologize for that. Silence hung in the air. The gunshot off the street had died down. And as you stopped talking, Curly didn't reply. He just looked at you. His gun shifted in his hand, fingers fidgeting about with it as he thought, contemplating what you said. You didn't know if he'd believe it. You were just stalling. It was a lie that broke down under any real scrutiny. It might be enough. Besides, you was the well, a simple build of stone and wood. Sand was piled up around the base, swept into mounds, and set by the wind. You hoped that would be your ticket out of here. You just had to wait. So you conspired to lead us both here, and then Black would be taken out, leaving the rest for us. Everyone in danger just for the sake of him. A lump formed in your throat. You squinted your eyes as the wind blew in your face. It's a stupid gambit, but I can't complain that you showed guts for once. It was like something I would have done when I was younger. It's all well and good to have you vouch, but I want to hear from Beaky Boy himself. Why do you want to join us? It looked at you, unsure, a lot of panic in his eyes. You just nodded at him and nodded in Curly's direction. Joseph's stalling for you was perfect. It let you focus on what was more important right now. The wind. That's what you were waiting for. Well, sir. I was just sick of the way Black treated me. There was no respect. You felt the wind tripping around you, blowing into the town, whistling through the alleys. I was hoping for a fresh start, I suppose. New gang. Kelly's face remained the same, contemplative, a little bored. The wind was dying down. A new gust soon. I can make myself useful. I know a lot about. Kelly waved his hand at Joseph and shook his head. Save it, kid. You're giving me a lot to chew on. I'm not a patient man. I've made my mind up. The wind was picking up again, blowing past your ears. You're a traitor, Joseph. I don't have time for that. Yeah, that might end very badly. The wind was rushing at your back now. The whistling of the alleyways gone. This was the moment. You stuck your foot behind the mound of sand next to you, held against the wall, and swept your leg to kick it as hard as you could. The sand and dust exploded as you cleared through it and sent it into the air towards Curly. The desert wind you'd been waiting on rushed in his direction, the grit and rock forming it covered him. He didn't realize what was happening till it was too late. His guard down, it was a momentary sandstorm in his eyes, in his mouth. Joseph and you didn't wait at dusk to swallow Curly, turning tail and running past the well towards the main street. Joseph was ahead of you, jumping over Blake's body as he ran. You slowed down and stopped to get Blake's revolver from his holster. A shot rang out behind you, and another, and another. You ducked down and there was a loud crack of rock as one of the bullets hit the wall. Curly, usually a cool and collected shooter, was firing blindly in the direction you ran, just trying to hit anyone who could. With Blake's gun in hand, he peered over the wall at Curly. He was standing in the same spot, covering his eyes with his arm, and held out. He couldn't see again yet, but he was listening for if you'd hurt anyone. He knew how good his earring was, just like yours. He was waiting for you to move. Crouched on one knee, you leaned forward, poised to launch you from behind the wall. You pushed hard and sprinted from your standstill, running at Joseph, who was cautiously waiting around the corner for you. Another gunshot, striking the ground near where you ran, and you stumbled. All the momentum of your run propelled you forward. You glanced at Curly as he ran and saw him start walking towards you both, around the edge of the building. Joseph's hand tapped you on the back and pushed you forward as you ran past, running behind you as you headed towards the saloon. Two more shots rang out. A window in the saloon burst and shattered glass fell out of the frame. You heard Joseph cry out behind you. There were more shots now, but not from Curly. As you cleared across the street, the fight started again, bullets flying. Joseph and you slammed into the door of the saloon as you leapt into its porch. There was a red gash on Joseph's shoulder. You couldn't stop yourself from staring at it, a deep pit suddenly opening in your stomach. Joseph snapped you out of it as you opened the saloon door and rushed inside, made to follow him, but look behind yourself first. Curly was standing at the end of the street, wary of the shots going off, staring you down all the while. Suddenly his eyes changed when he saw you looking at him, looked at you, at his gun, before tossing it aside and waiting to reload. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Suddenly his eyes changed when he saw you looking at him, looked at his gun, before tossing it aside, not waiting to reload. Pulled his knife from his sheath and started booking it towards the saloon. A chill of ice went down your spine as he started running at you, and you hastily flexed revolver across the floor towards Joseph. He looked at you, then saw Curly past you, then looked at the gun on the floor and grabbed it after a momentary pause. The last thing you saw as you slammed the saloon door shut was Joseph sliding to the end of the bar before Curly was upon you. Oh yeah, okay. You swiveled around in time to see Curly reach towards you as his hand closed around your throat, showing you against the wall. A dull pain throbbed at the back of your head as it bounced off the foot, Curly gripping your neck and keeping you there. Your hand snapped to his arm and pulled, claws sticking in and squashing the muscles of his arm straining against the skin, drawing blood. He had no patience for that and snatched his arm away, snarling before snatching your wrist and holding your arm up, pinning it to the wall. Your back was flush with the wood, forced you onto your tiptoes by his pulling on your arm, making you just tight. His grip was tight around your wrist, your head starting to feel numb and prickly. He came up close to you and brought his knife up, tracing the blunt set around your face before turning it around to threaten your cheek. The blade, cold and hard through your forehead, just below your eye, held still to your skin, my Curly. He was so close now, face to face. You could smell the days of coffee on his breath and see your own tired, fearful face in the pinprick blackness of his eyes. Your mouth dry, your painting breath hurting in your throat. Always knew you'd turn a traitor. I never liked you. The way you looked at me sometimes, hate, I think I'd call it. Had me going for a moment back there, though. Thought you'd finally seen some sense in your own scream way. Too good to be true, huh? But what should I have expected? It's always been your game, blending in. You knew what you were doing, never giving me an excuse, never giving me a chance, because you know what I do to traitors. I would like to make him squeal. You're stupid, but not stupid enough to let that be you. to your boot today, of course. You felt the knife twist so lightly in his hand, playing with it, thinking of what to do with you. She didn't have time to give you the proper traitor punishment, but have your fellow friend to finish off after you. Say your prayers, kid. The beating of your heart pitched into the rhythm of the stampeding horse at the thought of the knife about to slice you open. The thought that Curly was about to kill you, but scared you even more was the thought of what he might do to Joseph. Time felt like it was at a standstill. Curly was going to make his move. You had to do something. You weren't going to let this happen. You couldn't. You came here to kill him. You weren't going to die. The fear propelled you now. As your head lunged forward, you struck out your neck with the speed of a cracking whip, snapping your jaws open. Curly hadn't even pulled the knife back yet, and it sliced through your cheek as you struck your head out and clamped your teeth on the snout. You bit as hard as you could on Curly's face, teeth meeting bone and cutting through flesh, all the tension of your body looking up your jaw. Okay. You tasted blood as it hit your tongue. I knew you'd done enough, throwing your mouth open wide and pulling away as Curly recalled. Let go of you, staggering back a couple paces, and your feet fell flat on the deck. His hand caught his mouth immediately, feeling the damage rinsing, blood starting to pour down his chin. You kept your mouth open, not daring to breathe yet, sucking on your teeth and spitting a red glob of your side that splattered on the floor. The taste of blood in the back of your throat made you want to be sick. Kelly was breathing heavily through his fingers, Hackle's waist rolling, eyes splitting around you, absolutely focused. In an instant, he rushed towards you, the knife in his hand twisted downwards you, and he raised it up to stab at you. You were frozen still for a moment before you threw yourself out of the way and knocked as Curly plunged the knife where you had just been. It buried itself deep in the wooden wall of the saloon. You stumbled, hand landing and steadying yourself on the edge of the window. Kelly tugged at the knife once, twice, but it wouldn't come loose. He made eyes towards the saloon door, thinking of running. Kelly gave up on the knife as soon as he saw you make a move, snarling and throwing his weight out to catch you. But didn't Robin have a gun with him? I think only Joseph threw his gun away, and now he has another one, but I think Robin still has one, no? His arms stretched out and grabbed you, both hands sticking up under your armpits and pulling you back, lifted up in front of him. He held you aloft for a moment. In his fit of rage, you feet clear of the ground. He swung you one way, then swung you back with all his strength in inertia lifting your stomach as he hurled you at the window. You shut your eyes tight as you were thrown, and your whole body tensed as you crashed through, the glass cracking at your back. Your senses were overwhelmed as you sailed through the window, the sound of shattered glass stiffening in your ear. You were in the air for what felt like minutes, totally weightless before you crumbled upon the ground. Your body screamed at the bruises, the cuts, the scrapes scarring your body. Your back felt like it was on fire, your face wet and sore. You curled up, lay on your side. You wanted to get up to move, but you couldn't. Your limbs were too weak, your head swimming. It was all you could do to crane your neck and lift your head up enough to look towards the window. The sunlight was streaming in, so bright from your view of the floor. You heard the sound of wood creaking and cracking. Kelly walked in slowly into view of the window, holding his knife again, breathing hard still, muscles stained and matted with blood. He wrapped his arms across his face, getting the blood out of his nose, relaxed like a boxer who'd won his fight, just cleaning himself up. Well, Joseph is still in here somewhere, so they're probably gonna stay alive. His frame filled the window, silhouetted by the sun, rendered shadows spilling into the saloon. He looked at you with smug relief and sighed. Getting too old for this. He started carefully climbing through the broken window when a loud bang went off behind you, crashing off the walls of the ceiling. Staggering back a step, he clutched at his chest, and another bang went off, a second gunshot that made another small red hole. He stumbled, trying to catch himself on the porch railing, but sliding off, falling out of sight past the window with a series of thuds. You heard shuffling behind you as Joseph crawled from the end of the bar over to you. His gun rattled on the floor bars next to you as he discarded it, hands lingering, gingerly touching you, trying to find some purchase to help you up. You could tell he was trying not to hurt you, but you were hurt anyway. There wasn't any avoiding the searing soreness as you tried to sit up. Your head was clearing, and everything became less muddled. The pain in your body also more noticeable to you. Cuts and tears in your back screamed in protest as Joseph helped you up, helped push you to a sit, and you hunched towards forward legs straight, taking a moment. Don't know if you should move yet, Robin, just stay put. You could hear the worry in his voice. You didn't know how bad it looked, only how you felt. You'd live. Yeah, and you should go back outside and finish the guy off because we didn't see him, so he probably is still alive. The other thing you had concerned you more, past the cacophony of guns outside, past the wind howling through the broken windows. You shifted your way to the side, pressing your hand on the ground and rolling onto your knees. You took another moment to breathe. Your back was on fire every time you moved, but you could deal with it. You just had to take it slow. Facing the floor, you saw yourself reflected in the shards of glass scattered around you. There were gashes on your face, on your cheek. A large red wound went along the top of your snout, and you resisted the urge to scrunch your face and see how it felt. But where are you going? You're gonna hurt yourself. I'm alright. It wasn't very convincing that you winced as you said that, a long pain-relieving exhale as you slowly stood up. Straightening your back felt better even as the many cuts flared up, soreness fading as you stood to your full height. You turned to the window and walked gently onward, stepping between broken glass towards the sound of struggled breathing outside. Your hand passed over to the handle of your gun and you pulled it from the holster, pointing it down past the window as you peered over. There he is. He is still alive. Sure enough, Curly was lying there on his front, shirt stained with blood. He met eyes with you as you peeked through, still wary of him. Came to finish me off, did you? Surprised you can stand like that? You can stand like that. Okay. You didn't respond. You had nothing to say to him. You fidgeted with the gun in your hand, fingers readjusting. I can feel my voice. My voice hates me right now. I just talked far too much. I'll just speak again. You didn't respond. You had nothing to say to him. You fidgeted with the gun in your hand, fingers readjusting. Joseph approached carefully behind you, feeling him close at your back, looking at Curly over your shoulder. Curly's eyes studied Joseph for a moment and flicked back to you before turning them to the sky, staring at the porch ceiling. What did he promise to you, huh? Whatever it is, he's lying. Life makes lies of us all, sooner or later. You don't know the real world, pup. You can't trust other people. At least I was honest with you, wasn't I? Never lied about anything. You knew the stakes. Can you say the same for others? I don't think so. You'll miss me when I'm gone. You'll regret it. You accepted his death already. There was a bottomless bowl in your stomach as you aimed at Curly's head. You shook away the thoughts nesting in your mind. The whole fear that he might be right, taking a deep breath in and out. You didn't know if there was credence to a dying man's world. You just wanted this to be over. Go to hell, Curly. You squeezed hard on the trigger and let your arms jerk as the gun went off, a bang that made your heart jump. Curly's head whipped to the side with a wet thud. A hole in his skull. Blood started to pool, dripping to the sand. His arm fell limp. You put the gun back in your holster. You wanted to be sick, stepping away from the window, walking over to a table, something to fall on. All stability, your fingers tapping at the varnished wood, staring at nothing at all. Hey, hold still. Joseph walked over to you, close behind, a hand reaching up to your shoulder. Don't move, I mean it. Something in your back, below your shoulder of your shoulder. Below the shoulder of your shoulder arm, you felt it move for a moment, suddenly a flash of searing pain. You barked and covered your mouth, biting a little on the finger to distract from the pain. It felt like someone was dragging a bad, hot poker through the left of your back. It only lasted a couple seconds, but it felt like minutes. Joseph's other hand on your opposite shoulder held you in place, and you resisted the urge to struggle until finally it stopped. You panicked like you just run the length of a town. The back of your shoulder felt molten. Sorry about that. Where I told you not to move in the first place, real nasty bit of glass in there. It's alright. Thank you. Your back did feel different, less stiff. I hadn't noticed it before, even if it really hurt now. Turned around to face Joseph, your eyes gravitating towards the gash on his shoulder. A great red tear through his shirt and skin. Are you alright? Yeah, I'm fine, I'll live. You're in way worse a shape than I am. He gave you a gentle, worried smile, then looked behind him through the window. You should probably get out of sight. Someone sees us in here, we might be in trouble, especially with the freak of nature over there. Yeah, we should, freak of nature? Golly, the man tossed you through a window. I'd say that's pretty freakish. I'm just glad you made it out through that. Made it through that. Maybe I'm the freak, huh? Anyway, you're right. We should hide and wait for this to blow over. That's a good idea. You looked around, your eyes dancing across the saloon for somewhere to nestle into, looking up and seeing the upper floor. Joseph followed your eye line up, and you looked at each other. Outside the saloon headroom, didn't he? Yeah, he did. Should we go up? Would be a lot comfier than hiding down here, I think. Saber too. You felt your face warm. I thought about it for a moment. You were both bleeding a lot. Would Bartholomew get mad? I mean, you already destroyed his whole saloon completely. I don't think you might a bit more blood up there too. The saloon was a mess already. Exactly. We'll deal with it later, together. Yeah, that would be good. We had a minute together of trying to help each other. Trying to link arms off or put an arm over your shoulder. You were too hurt and sensitive to really be touched by Joseph thought. Joseph, though, and his shoulder too busted up to hold your weight. Together you just walked up the stairs, closely side by side, holding yourself steady on the banister, Joseph watching you with keen eyes. You knew he'd be there to catch you if you fell. Your legs all shake as the adrenaline started to subside, and your heart beating slower. The landing stretched across the saloon, and you walked towards the furthest room, Joseph trailing close behind you. Oh, that looks actually quite comfortable. Twisting the handle, you opened the door with some haste, shuffling inside together. You turned and closed the door as quietly as you could, still bumping against the frame, the handle creaking as it turned beneath your hand. You waited there, facing the door, giving yourself a moment, breathing slowly, feeling the metal in your palm, gripping it tightly. The door closed, and the ring of gunshots from outside was much softer. You could imagine them as raindrops against the window. Is it that soft? Nice room. You let go and turned to look around the room. You agreed, it was nice. It was bright, the sunlight skimming in through the window, curtains open, fading onto the pillows, a clean bed, a side table, a dresser. Wandered over to the bed, reaching out to touch, but thinking better of it when feeling the blood sticking between your fingers. A large rock lay on the floor next to the bed, so instead you lowered yourself down to sit on it, leaning back to rest against the bed. You rested your head against it too, at least feeling the softness of the sheet brushing your fur, meeting the curve of your neck. Joseph still stood where he was, looking into the middle distance. After a few moments, his glassy stare turned down to you, coming back to life. What do we do now? We wait for the fight to die out. Once they realize who's died, they should leave. Hopefully we won't be looked for. Right. He hopped over to the bed. He shuffled over to the bed and leaned down, groaning as he hit the rug. Sitting against the bed as you did now. Sit here and hope for the best. As good as a plan as we had so far. He said awkwardly as he tried not to put any pressure on his shoulder. The red gash was painful just to look at. Shoulder hurts like a son of a gun. At least it stopped bleeding by now. Yeah, mine kinda hurts still. Probably not as bad as yours though. Suppose we should be lucky it wasn't worse. Ain't that the truth? You gingerly touched the cuts on your face, checking over if the rest of bleeding, how deep they'd gone. Only a little blood came with your fingers. Your face sore and raw, but you'd live. What's a few more scars? You can get patched up when all the tone walls come back, I hope. Yeah, I'll be fine, don't you worry. Tried not to worry, settling yourself down, trying to rest. You stared at the wall of the bedroom, unsure what to think, unsure how to feel, tracing the grain of the wood with your eyes. You wondered if this numbness you felt made you a monster, some strange liking that left you sitting there, bereft of feeling. How are you supposed to feel when black is crumpled up by the raw desert heat drying the wet and stained sand? How are you supposed to feel with Curly lying peacefully in the shade of the porch, windswept fur catching drips of wet? You thought about how helpless you'd been. After Curly threw you, you wouldn't have been able to fight back. You thought about his smugness as he came to step through the window. You thought about him walking over, boots clacking against the wood. The cold metal of the gun through your fur as he stooped down to press it on your head. You were brought back from your thoughts as your ears drew your eyes away from the wall down to your side. Down to where Joseph's hand fidgeted, tapping against the floor. The softest of patterns against the rug, an unheard rhythm from within him. His breathing caught your eyes too. The noticeable rise and fall of his chest, the long exhales through his nose. The eyes continued up to his swollen face, the feathers of his head suddenly shaking, nerves bubbling to the surface. Looked back down to his sand and fought yourself reaching across, reaching out to take hold. Joseph chortled as you touched him, his hand almost reflectively jerking out of yours. As he came back to the road, he looked down. He relaxed his arm when he saw, squeezing your low and letting you steal his hand away into your lap. It was trembling as he stroked your thumb over the feathers, squeezing his hand back firmly. Your hand moved around each other, coupling and dancing, exploring each other's future fingers and palms. A distraction of each other's fur and feathers, just the two of you. Ow, I hold my hand in the same position for like almost 2 hours like now. Oh my, okay. That feels very uncomfortable now. Oh, okay. A distraction of each other's fur and feathers, just the two of you. Joseph's arm being pulled away from him started to make him lean, his body subtly shifting inch by inch closer to you. He started to tilt and his head tilted too, laying on your shoulder with a comforting heft of weight. You laid your head on his feather ends, tickling you through your fur. He twisted his arm into a comfy position, keeping it near. You took a hold again, holding the back of his hand, digging your fingers in between his, intertwining. And we are both still, only the small movement of getting comfortable to disturb you, hands fidgeting together. We're alive, huh? Did we really do that? Nah, there's no way. When we rolled up on Clemency, I saw you and thought we had no shot. How did we make it out alive? It was incredulity to the voice that weighed on your heart. It was right, you nearly died. Nearly, but you didn't. You were still alive. You were still here with him. I don't think I care about the how or the why. You're still alive, and they aren't. All that matters to me is that I'm sitting here with you, that I can feel how warm you are. Joseph sat up at that, his head no longer on your shoulder as he turned to look at you, looking into your eyes. The music is gone. On your hand. You found your hand let go of his, reaching up, waiting to feel him feel his warmth the way his stomach moved as he breathed. His heart still beating strong inside him, like it was reaching out to you, quickening as you let your hand lay on his chest. You felt your own heartbeat drumming louder now, like you had just minutes ago. But out of fear this time, not that kind. As you reached up past his shoulder, you closed his eyes as your hand rubbed gently up his cheek, his neck, feathers fluffing, stroking up till you cupped his face. The feathers of his face were soft, intermingled with the dust and dirt, the specks of dried blood that you felt beneath your hand. You opened his eyes again, those big honey gold and brown rings that started to flick around your features, studying you. Looking at you in a way you don't think you ever have been before. He cleared his throat a little, trying and unsure of his words, but wanting to say them all the same. Look at how awkward he looks now. You know, did I ever tell you how handsome you are? Oh, look at how Robin looks. And is so happy. You couldn't help your little snort as you laughed, turning your face away, giggling over the nervous trip of his words. No, I don't think you did. Oh, come on now. Robin, looking back at him, it felt like your faces were closer. You laughter subsided. Cheeks starting to warm as the sweetness of his words trickled into your voice like honey. You found yourself leaning in slowly as did he, your eyes glancing at each other's mouths. The stretch of tension in your back as your head pushed forward had your hand buried in the softness of his feathers, pulling him closer. Eyes meeting once more, just a moment before. A cutscene! Oh, look at this! It only took, what, 3.5, 4 hours? Your faces met. You pressed your lips to the end of his beak, his hot breath in your lips, in your mouth as yours was in his. You held the kiss there, holding your lips to his, unsure if this was what you were supposed to do. You'd never kissed anyone like this before. You hadn't met anyone like Joseph before either. You just wanted to be close to him like this. Your heart was beating hard in your chest, your cheeks flushed and hot. Your heart what sounded like sweeping, realizing it was your tail flicking across the floor. Oh, a few more seconds passed before that kiss was broken, your hand falling from his face to hold onto his arm. Look at them. They just looked like, okay. Looked at each other with quivering breaths. You could feel the strong rhythm of his heartbeat in your hand. A big gracious smile spread across Joseph's face. He matched it with a more sheepish one, embarrassed still despite everything. Guessing you never kissed someone with a beak before? No, I haven't. Anyone without one, for that matter. Well, if that really was your first time, I got nothing to complain about. I just say it was a very mammal kiss. Oh, really now, to educate me. You followed a flip to it. Birds can't do that so well, you see. So we tend to kiss a lot differently. Your face warmed even more, your ears burning as he leaned in closer, talking softly. Let me show you. Oh, okay. At least they're having a good time outside. Those guys are stopped fighting. Maybe they aren't anymore, who knows how long these guys been here. One hand came to rest on your leg as he leaned forward, his beak flushed with your snout. You closed your eyes as he came closer, the whispers of his breath warm on your face, and the tip of his beak gently poked at your cheek. You breathed and rubbed his beak through your fur, almost nibbling at you, feeling soft scrapes against your skin. Joseph's affection continued against your cheek, the feathers of his face close to your nose, smelling of sweat and tobacco. He nuzzled through the fur on your face a few moments more before rubbing his beak all along your snout as he dipped his head back. He looks very awkward. You opened your eyes again, amused by Joseph's new kiss, to gaze upon his bashful face. But also, I think that probably is more convenient for him, considering he is weak. From the blush on his cheek and the unusual shyness he was trying to shrug off, he felt as if he'd been entrusted a secret. What do I make of that? I think I liked mine better, but I could get used to those too. He slipped an arm around your back, holding you close as your heart fluttered at the thought of familiar kisses. I would be happy to oblige. His face beamed with a warm smile as he leaned forward to rest his head atop yours. You reached your hand across him and grabbed his other hand, pulling it into his lap, keeping you all close like a bundle of sticks. Letting your mind focus on him, feeling his hand squeeze your side, firmly squeezing his other hand back. Listening to his breathing from the small shuffles of his clothes to the faint beat of his heart in his chest. That is a lot of reading. That is just a lot of reading. Your ear flicked around as you heard something else. Some subtle noise you wanted to ignore, focusing on the warmth of Joseph. The fight in the street seemed to be over. No longer could you hear the muffled shots, the pops or bangs of cracks that split the air. What you could hear now there were rhythmic sounds, distant and soft but growing louder by the second. It was footsteps. First at the stairs, but now coming along the landing, coming closer. You sat up sharply, knocking Joseph in the chin a little, as you heard one of the doors open and then close. Whoever it was shaking the rooms. Joseph sat up as he took note of the noises as well, realizing the same as you. Someone was looking for you, or at least someone was looking for stragglers. Your hand snipped to your gun and pulled it from the holster, aiming it square at the door. I don't think it's someone from the bandits. You had more doors open and close. Whoever it was would be here in just a few seconds. The footsteps grew a little bit louder and then found something familiar within them. There were 4 footsteps, 2 people, but there was another offbeat from the out of pace. A 5th footstep. I think they came back already. As the hunters came to the door, you realized what it was. Your hand coming down, pointing the gun away. Joseph whispered urgently, "What are you doing?" It wasn't another footstep you heard. It was a thumb of a cane. The door swung open, with 2 figures standing in the doorway. A moment of uncertainty had you pointing again back at the way. Put it away again, though. Sure enough, you saw who you were expecting. Oh, it's a bunny! It's a bunny! It was Sheriff, along with a man unfamiliar to you, a lanky, serious-looking hare who leaned in, still holding door handle. Well, put that thing away there. You don't mean you no harm. Both of them had rifles slung over their shoulder, and Sheriff's buried face turned to one of relief when you met eyes. And there was getting all twisted up worrying about you too. I knew you'd be alright. Sheriff? What are you doing here? I thought everyone was out of town. Well, everyone is except for us. Oh, I should introduce you. This is Matthew, dead behind top of me. I couldn't go with anyone else. I was worried about the town and you boys, so Matthew and I stayed here to help out where we could. That's cool, that's cool. Oh, wait, is Matthew like was it the husband of the Bartholomew of him? Yeah. I couldn't go with anyone else, so I was worried. Oh yeah, okay, I already read that. Oops. We were up on the roof shooting as a distraction. I hope it was some help. Wait, that was you? I thought you were supposed to be pacifists. Well, we didn't actually shoot anyone, we just shot near them. Trying to tip the scales in your favor and give them something else to worry about. Looks like that made us someone a bit of a target though. I'm just not gonna be happy about this mess. I'm sorry, we'll do whatever we can to help. Matthew waved it off cheerily. Don't worry, my husband's a very forgiving man, but is almost like his baby. Okay, so he is the husband of him, okay. Yeah, I was guessing that already. He'll wanna know you're right, but after that, he's just gonna wanna fix it up. So this was the husband? I didn't think your first meeting with him would be like this. Seems like you got banged up pretty bad too. I don't know if he should know if we should have done more. No, I think you may well have saved our lives. You knew the danger of what you were doing. Thank you for helping us like that. You didn't have to. Yeah, thanks. We owe you one. Don't mention it. We'll ask for your help when we're better, but right now you need some seeing to. Lucky for you, the town's doctor here. There, you're looking at him. Ah, sorry. I need to apologize for you. I had quite a day. What happened to everyone else? We told him to leave. The bosses said that, and we said more people would be back soon, but none of them felt like sticking around. You're safe. Inside yourself, there was some deep sigh of relief you didn't realize that you'd been holding onto, like you hadn't breathed right for days. You nodded gratefully. Matthew came into the room and started tending to Joseph first, looking over his injuries. You were both hurt and bruised and bloody, but you were safe now. You wondered how long it would be until you could believe that. You're not sure if you knew back then, or when you realized that you'd carry the scars from the day for the rest of your lives. You and Joseph were put up in separate rooms at the saloon by Bartholomew, who insisted you stay so that Matthew could treat you both. The month you spent resting and recovering there was full of sleepless nights. Nightmares came often, some more vivid than others. You often woke in the early morning to find you and your bedsheet drenched in sweat. Some nights you were woken by Joseph shouting. Those nights you'd sit up in bed, waiting for him to come into your room and crawl in, lying with him until you fell asleep. Other nights where you felt shaken and sick but what you dreamt about, you'd wake him, ask him if you could sleep in his bed. Neither of you talked much otherwise. You kept to yourselves in your rooms, resting doctor's orders. You weren't sure of their benefits, but Matthew thought you brought you medicines occasionally, often some concoction involving whiskey. You joked about the perks of having a bartender for a spouse. The taste was foul to you still, but you found it helped just a little. It was odd. You thought that the respite of bed rest felt like just as much work as being up and about at the camp. It sometimes felt like resting was the last thing you were doing. As the days went by, there did come the point you'd been waiting for, where you both were feeling fit enough to get up and do something. You still kept to the saloon, only seeing a handful of familiar faces at odd times. The saloon was already clean and mostly fixed up by the time you were recovered enough to lend a hand. You felt like you'd missed your opportunity to help out, but Bartholomew assured you he'd need help when the new windows were to be fitted. It also brought up that neither of you had joined in on the nightly gathering at the saloon. That now you were better, everyone would love to see you. You'd had the gatherings all those nights. You'd been resting attendance waxed and waned, but every night the saloon was bustling and merry. Full of people enjoying their other company, singing songs, telling stories. The idea of being in the midst of that crowd put ice in your stomach. Joseph happily agreed to come along to the next gathering, and so did he. You knew really that it would be good to be around people. Now, here you were, standing in front of the window in your room, looking out past the back reflection of your face in the glass. Night had fallen like lights in houses down the street, snuffed one by one as people left for the saloon, the downstairs filling the town. I think I read that wrong. Filling with the town, probably, yeah. Already you could hear the muffled sounds of mingling shadows, spatters of loud laughs that had grown familiar to you through the walls. You kept looking out the window into the dark desert, knowing that you'd have to move soon, just waiting another second, another minute. You had to go on, leave the room. A short sigh at yourself sent you off, walking across the room to meekly open the door. You pulled it open just a crack, the warm lamp light in the saloon spilling in, and to your surprise you found Joseph standing there. One hand raised, about to knock on your door. He flashed you a little smile, nearly asking if he could come in. You opened it just enough to let him in before closing it, leaning in with your shoulder to the door as he stood close to you. Hey. Hi. Your greetings practically stumbled over each other, both clearly antsy trying to get some words out. Are you ready? You showed the inside of your cheek hole as you thought. You wanted to be ready. You wanted to go down and see the people who had cared for you. Joseph was here too. It would be fine. I'm not ready either, but if it helps, I think if we dilly-dally about it, Dora will never be ready. Yeah, you're right. You sighed and Joseph patted you on the shoulder, all reassurance to get you going. Right, let's go have a good time. That's the spirit. Joseph followed close behind you as you opened the door wide and stepped out, eyes adjusting from the darkness of your room. He closed the door as you left and you walked along the landing to go on down the stairs, looking out over the disparate crowds. Clemency was a small town, but with so many packed into here, it felt like even the busiest of bars you'd glanced inside of before. As you neared the bottom of the stairs, you heard a voice call out. Welcome, Joseph, over here. Looked over at the bar and saw Bartholomew waving at you, his arms stuck up high to catch you with the taller patrons spilling past. It wasn't just him either. Standing at the bar were other familiar faces you were happy to see, namely Jacob and Sheriff. You took Joseph's hand and walked through with him, excusing your way past people to the bar. That's a lot of people. Jacob and Sheriff sailed along to make some room between them, a friendly gap for you both to squeeze into. It's good to see you well again, Robin. I found myself rather worried after what happened. I'm glad to see you too, Jacob. I didn't lose another limb, so I think I have nothing to complain about. He gave you a gentle, reassuring smile, seemingly genuinely calm by your choky reassurance. Sheriff leaned in to address you both. It's good to see you both in good health, for sure, and you'll be in even better health with a drink down you. Bartholomew? That's what I'm here for. On the house, fellas, what you're thinking. Damn, really? You sure we've been taking up your rooms? And now for your drinks? You're really spoiling us. You need something so we can toast to your help. Go on, take your pick. I think I'll just stick with a beer. Right, how about you, Robin? Can you do me a whiskey? Arch also giving you a quizzical look, surprised you chose such a hard liquor. Sure thing, let me get on those. Oh yeah, that's probably because Robin drank those for quite a while now, like a month straight. He turned and busied himself with fending what you ordered, and you looked at Joseph, his face still confused over your choice. But I have quite a bit of a taste for it. No, I can respect it. Just didn't see it being your kind of thing. I'm full of surprises, huh? Sure. He felt a little blush rise to your cheeks. He gave you a wry smile. Bartholomew sat down a stout tumbler of whiskey alongside the piano's counter. You took your drinks and Sheriff started to speak. That's more like it. Now, a toast. To Robin and Joseph. The boys pulled off something incredibly brave, and then thankfully made it. Here. You went round clicking glasses with Jacob, Joseph, Sheriff, and Bartholomew before taking a sip of your whiskey. Before it even reached your lips, the smell was burning in your nose, and you continued to burn as it slipped down your throat. It was a pleasant burn of sorts, though. You weren't sure if that was the way it was meant to be, but you enjoyed it all the same. So, boys, I don't know what your plans are now. You're all fixed up, but I thought I'd take the moment to ask if you'd like to stay in Clemency. I really think you'd fit in here. It's just an invitation, mind you. No need to give me an answer now, but just think about it for me. You and Joseph glanced eyes for a moment, both humbled and blindsided, unsure what to say. Why did the question leave you gripping your glass, fidgeting your thumbs over the rim? Wasn't this something you wanted? Thanks, Sheriff, that's a very kind offer. We'll have to sleep on it, I think. Not a problem, just a suggestion, really. Don't mind me none. Truth be told, I can't say I have much in the way of plans as of now. Yeah, no, I haven't. I've not really thought about what to do next. That was the honest truth. All you'd focused on was getting away from Curly, out from under his shadow. How you were free, you could do anything, and yet think of nothing. Sadness took a hold of your chest. Oh, Matthew's back. If it is my favorite patience. Matthew came wandering over to the bar and greeted you both with a beaming smile. Great to see you up and at it. Up and at it. All thanks to you, Doc. Ah, you're too kind. I'll drink to that. The swing of the beer he held. Is that Joseph in kind? I'm setting up a poker game right now, so thought I'd wander around and see who's game. I'll join in. Alright, I've already got another guy as well, so just need at least one more person. Be able to sneak away from the bar. He spoke past you to Bartholomew. Wait, I need to drink again. Oh, I can't fucking know. He spoke past you to Bartholomew, who rolled his eyes. I admire you. I see Matthew, but I'm not gonna join in your poker no matter how many times you ask. What? Need both of them to play with us. Alright, I can't blame a man for trying. Joseph caught your eye and gave you a look to ask, do you mind if I go? To which you just nudged him encouragingly with your elbow. I'm game if you're prepared to lose. Oh, that's fighting talk. I should have known you'd be up for it. Come with me to the table. Joseph gave your arm a gentle squeeze before he grabbed his beer and handed the sheriff towards the back of his stomach. I think I forgot. Is Bartholomew his boyfriend or are they married? I'm not sure anymore. You watched him disappear in the throng of people before turning back to the bar, just left with Jacob and Bartholomew. Not a gambler then, Jacob? Oh, heavens no. Did I have any particular objection? I'm just tail-worded. I have to say my poker face is quite dire. You chuckled at that, suddenly seeing how it could be the case. Eyes turned down to your drink. Small talk dying away, staring into the clear liquid that streaked the glass as you rolled it around in your hand. Were you a whiskey drinker now? You couldn't have foreseen that a month ago. Nor could you have foreseen before that you'd meet Joseph, that you'd end up here having left the gang, really gone. Thinking back on it, it felt like you were always going to be under Kelly's thumb. What else was there for you? That was going to be your life until the tides of fate swept you elsewhere. You didn't think you'd ever have a chance like this. Now you have the chance to choose your life. Everything is still just as hazy. What comes next? I know that look. You turned your eyes up to Bartholomew as he put his elbows on the bar, leaning in with a friendly, knowing demeanor. That's the face of someone with a lot going on in the upstairs. That or there's something very interesting at the bottom of that glass. You thinking about what Sheriff said? Yeah, it's just, I don't know. What are your plans now? You must have some idea of what you want to do. I can't say I do. I've not thought about it, I guess. You know, you don't have to stay in Clemency. You could go anywhere, really. Oh, yes, I would say I agree. Traveling is an incredible way to learn and to discover what kind of man you are. What kind of man? Indeed, it is easy when young to think you know the world, think you know yourself well. That is what I thought before I went on my pilgrimage. The man who left Pennsylvania all those years ago is not the same man who arrived in Clemency. In fact, the man who arrived in Clemency and the man sitting in this bar now are not the same either. Combining with your fellow people gives you a great deal of clarity and substance to your character. I think I see what you mean. You knew what he meant, of course. You'd run with Curly for years now. Who you were when you left home and who you are now are strangers to each other. I weren't sure if that person from years ago met you now, that you'd be someone you wanted to know. It's not just yourself either. You can learn a lot about someone else from traveling with them. Me and Matthew learned so much about each other on the trail, both the good and the bad. I don't think you really know someone who've had to share the same bed for weeks on end. Would be good for you, Joseph. Maybe. You could feel your cheeks turning red. Joseph had talked about riding east before, but that was more like running away at the time. But Bartholomew said struck your head. Do you even know Joseph? Do you really know him? You thought you did, but really, you've only just met. You don't really know that much about each other. While you may feel things for him, you never have anyone else. And you've gone through hell and high water to be here together. Is that enough? Is that a reason to stick together? Do you want to know who he is? Do you want him to know who you are? You have no idea what the future holds. You have no idea about anything. You don't know Joseph. He doesn't know you either. You don't even know yourself. Doubt was welling up in your chest, coating your insides, making you heavy. Breathing deep, tapping your fingers on the bar. It's too warm in here. Too many people. You need some air. You feeling right, Robin? His words snapped you out of your thoughts, but the feeling remained. You noticed subtly. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go outside, get some air. Giving them both a weak smile of reassurance, you left your drink on the bar and stepped away, passing strangers. You head out the doors. The night air was refreshing as it cooled down your head. You welcomed the chill breeze from the desert that ruffled through your fur. You didn't hang around long on the saloon porch, walking away into the town, leaving behind the yellow light that spilled from its windows. You left the town too, past the sign that read its name, making your way up a path at the outskirts that brought back forlorn memories of feelings not unlike the others you were harboring now as you stood at the top of the cliff of your climb on a familiar cliff. You took slow, deep breaths of the midnight air, filling your lungs, clearing your head. You wandered over the cliff edge and gazed over the town. The light of the saloon stars dark against the inky darks. It's almost 2 hours since I started the stream. I have not talked that much in any of my streams before. The desert was quite. The desert was quite safe for the whistle of wind carrying the sharp of insects. You crouched down and fell on your haunches, sitting and letting your legs hang over the edge of the cliff. Cutscene? Cutscene time, yeah. It was funny to think how many life-changing things had happened to you up here. Meeting Joseph, spending the night with him, sowing the seeds of your plans to be free. Was there some comfort to being up here, perhaps? Found and fresh memories that calmed you, reminding you why you were here. Still, there was a gnawing feeling in your heart, no matter how much you hoped for there not to be. Why are you feeling like this? Why are you so worried? Why are you so scared? What's wrong with you? Shouldn't this freedom you have now be a good thing? Why does it feel like everything is about to come crashing down around your ears? What about Joseph, sweet Joseph, that you made a promise with? You let out a heavy sigh. You didn't expect to be weighted down with so many thoughts tonight. This was supposed to be a celebration. Now you were up here, away from everyone. Many contradictions running through your mind. Always been your answer to things. Running away, the only time you didn't was because of that promise. How stupid can you be to choose to fight and then want to run away from everything you were fighting for? Probably run away from yourself if you could. You just wish you could answer why. You sat for a little while. The wind up here was still a pleasant breeze. It blew past your head, cooling your warm ears, taking small grains of sand with it that floated off the cliff. Not thinking about much at all as you looked out into the night, at the distant dark blue silhouette of hills. Howdy, stranger, what brings you out here? You were drawn from your trance by Joseph's voice. All of a sudden, you were so out of it you hadn't even heard him approach. Look at him, he's here. You turned and looked up at him. He was standing a few paces away, his spear in one hand, your whiskey in the other. Mind if I join you? You nodded at the ground, letting him know he could come sit. He walked over and lowered himself carefully to sit next to you, keeping the drink steady. He held your whiskey glass out to you by his fingers. You took it as he put it on your palm. Thanks. No problem. So, like I said, what brings you out here? You absentmindedly scratched the side of your glass with a blunt claw as you thought of your answer. I just needed some air. Yeah, it was a little stuffy in the saloon. If you ask me, we did Bethlehem your favor, breaking some windows. You wrote the place. You giggled a little at that. He was good at making you feel better. Why are you always so charming? It seems to come so easy to you. Looked a little bashful at that comment, scratching his head, unsure what to say. Honestly, I think I want to end the stream here. Like, I can see that the game ends soon, obviously, but like it's been almost 3 hours now. And yeah. So either I can ever continue that a bit later today, or maybe, well, tomorrow then. I'll just have to put it in 3 streams, even though the next stream will obviously not be 3 hours long. Maybe like, I don't know, 15 minutes? 15-20 minutes, something like that. But I will be obviously then playing something else after that, because that would be just a bit sad if I just stream for 20 minutes. But I'll just save this. I'll just save it in the slot. And yeah. Well, I actually really like this game. Like, it is a nice game. I forgot what these games are called. I like these sort of games. I usually don't play them on stream because it's obviously a lot of talking, and that is not the most interesting thing to listen to. Especially if I stumble over my words all the time when I'm reading stuff. Yeah, I hope you have a good rest of your day if I'm not streaming today. And I hope to see you next time. Yeah. Bye bye.